recording engineer type.
Yeah.
He's got a. I mean, you look at like his YouTube videos, like you can tell his studio is insane.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I don't even use DSP anymore. Like I don't.
Oh, and he's using one of the M1s.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But like for the longest time, he was having to use like his interfaces DSP to
hit that.
That's okay. I'll take it.
I thought if I could
right, because like the Twin has DSP built into it.
The Twin has DSP built in it, and I actually have underneath of it that other box is the satellite Octo,
right,
or whatever. So that's another 8 of those DSP chips.
But he was saying like I had to use that to run, but he's like now I don't. He's like my M1 like handles it all on its own.
Oh, it's unbelievable, man. Like I have the MacBook Air. And like I haven't beat it yet. Like I accidentally tapped it out for like hardware space, and that's the only thing I've done to it.
Here, pull that so that like if you're gonna talk that way, like pull it so that it's like sitting opposite, like that angle,
like this way.
Okay, so the thing's more on you.
Okay,
because it sounds really good when you're right.
Getting called at my own game here.
Oh fuck yeah!
Hey, cheers, boys.
Cheers! I gotta fill this up again.
Oh, wow. You better just grab the stuff and bring it over here.
Yeah, I'll bring it over here because I didn't know we were getting started.
That's okay. You pressed record, right?
Yeah.
Matt and I can talk for a bit. You want to grab the shit?
Yeah. Is your mic working? All right.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
Yeah, you all sound great.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
I'll work the mic.
All right.
Yeah, we got it. You grab the drinks.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
All right. So I watched the video you sent me of your friend's app.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was fantastic.
That's cool.
I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I was blown away. It looks like y'all didn't have any struggles.
No, the only thing that happened was in the right before the very last song. He, because we had this idea that we would do a Zoom afterwards and just invite everybody into the Zoom call.
Here's the link, show up type thing.
And like just have an after show hangout, right? Hoping that some of the old high school buddies might jump on, and we had a couple jump on. But basically what happened is he sent a link through in the comments, and somehow like as soon as he sent the link, I copy and pasted it into the comment section, it crashed on the last song. So I don't know I don't know exactly what happened, but we just we booted back up and just created a new show, and people jump back in.
That makes sense for
the last song. But it's I mean it's running well, and I think that the more people use this Be Live app, you're going to see like more creative ways of taking advantage of. Right, because I think the key is like you can do a show with just your phone microphone or your iPad microphone, but it's not gonna. I mean, it sounds okay.
It's fine.
But what I wanted is like I wanted a little bit of reverb and and granted, I don't think I had enough reverb turned on. I didn't have the effect loud enough, so it didn't really come through in the recording, but. Like I'm even thinking that because I had a USB mic running into it, but I'm thinking if you could run a USB mixer, right? If the iPad is as soon as you plug in a USB mic, that mic is basically taking over the iPad software. I wonder if a mixer would, because then you could really
get it.
You could really dial it in, right?
There you go. Look at this man. Look at him. He's got all the goods.
Jeez.
Just showing off the biceps. That's why he brought it all out.
I don't know.
There it is. Oh my goodness.
That water jug is questionable though.
It's just water stain.
I'm switching over from the caffeinated to the I'm gonna go rum and waters.
Yeah. Dave's a real sailor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the flavor out of this and do this old school.
I
left my cup.
We were at the Owl on was it Friday night? Just took the wife and kids to dinner at the Owl, and there's this old guy sitting there, and he had a hat on. I don't know. It looked like a Legion hat or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But he was, Anders was making friends with everybody, running around the And this old guy that was just sitting by himself kept like waving at him, and then at one point it went like dead silent in the owl, and all you could hear was Anders yell, "Dad, that pirate is waving at me." That is awesome.
I love that.
I'm like, yeah, he kind of does look like a pirate. You nailed it.
Do y'all go to the Owl often?
Yeah.
It's pretty nice now,
Yeah,
the new setup. I heard Tuesday nights are great because they got that tacos made in Mexico next door, serving food for them.
Oh, interesting.
They do Taco Tuesday, but next door does it, and then they do the booze, and then they do a jam.
Open jam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Dope, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going. I say I've been going to the Owl since Hypnotic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
that's where I met you.
Let's be honest.
Was that
right?
Hypnotic? Yeah.
And I've just kind of followed them from venue to venue. I just
you fall in love with the owners, man,
and the staff.
Yeah.
Right. They have great service
every time.
And
they always have fun. Mm-hmm. That's what I've noticed with the Owl. It's always like a blast.
Yeah. I haven't been. I haven't been in the Slice for.
Oh, I've been there since probably before the pandemic.
I haven't been there since we played there in a 80s hair metal night.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That was the last time I was there.
That's the last time I played live on stage.
Really?
Was that night?
We're gonna have to
hair
book a
metal
gig.
night.
So I don't know. I don't know how well they're doing, but
I don't know.
They're busy. I see that like there's stuff there all the time.
Is there?
I hope they're doing well.
see, and this is what I hate about, and I hate that I use it, but in my life it just helps for me to know what's going on. But I use Facebook, right? And obviously with the algorithms or however it works, I never see anything for the Slice ever.
Yeah.
When's the last time you searched the Slice on Facebook? That's probably why.
Yeah,
Gets
so
pushed
I
to the
should
bottom,
probably,
right?
I should probably just do that, and then because the Owl is just like
It's there because you're there all the time.
constantly there. Like and I think the other thing too is like friends of friends seem to always be posting about the Owl. Like I just always see, lots of sharing and networking.
That's another thing I appreciate about that whole crowd, though.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's on board. Like whatever's going on, it's just like, hey, let's do this to the nines. You know what I mean? Like I saw one of the owners at the Owl. He posted they were looking for a sound guy last minute for like a Saturday night, and the amount of comments they got, man, of like people asking to help and all the support and shit.
It
It
was just
wild.
like
It was like last Saturday,
right?
yeah. I was gonna do it, but I had COVID. But
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm clear, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that part of the conversation.
It's all good.
All good,
It's
all good. So, what else has been going on since the last podcast?
God, I've just been working and trying to get my motorbike out. Like that's kind of like my main focus right now.
Priority
Just-
number one.
I just want to get out riding, but I can't.
Where do you ride to?
I usually do. There's not many places to go in southern Alberta, really. Like in terms of a good motorcycle cruise, but I usually do like a Picture Butte to like Coaldale kind of loop.
Go to the bakeries.
Yeah,
The bakery.
Yeah,
You should, man.
And apparently there's a like a Hickory place or like a. They're called Hickory Grill or
Hickory Farms.
I don't know.
Hickory.
Keep talking.
It's just like a
What a hickory do they do? What are we hickering?
It's
What are we hickering up
What
here?
are we Hickory?
It's a barbecue place.
Sounds good. I'm a little hungry, so this is
and
sounding really good.
I didn't have supper,
They
so I gotta
don't.
be careful of these
but,
drinks.
but the only thing is they can't serve alcohol because they're in where is it? Does Raymond doesn't allow alcohol?
Raymond doesn't
right?
know. From Raymond
it's
to
Raymond
Waterton.
Cards, or maybe it's
they don't
Sterling.
either, do they?
Sterling,
Sterling,
Carson,
Sterling.
Warner, that
I
whole
gotta find
area.
out.
is
I'll
pretty
find
clean.
out. But
Well,
it's
Raymond has a bar though. No, Warner has a
think it
bar.
does.
I don't know. Nobody cares.
I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot down in Mormon
I mean,
country.
No, on the way,
Yeah.
from like you leave Lethbridge, you get to Waterton. That's the next liquor
My
store.
parents,
Yeah,
my parents
basically,
lived in
yeah.
Raymond. That's where
Did they?
when I first moved to Lethbridge.
Yeah.
That's where you moved from.
Well, my parents, no. Like I moved from BC, but my parents were in Lethbridge and then they bought a house in Raymond. So yeah, I ended up living with them, just trying to, I didn't know anything of what I was going to do in Lethbridge. Right. So, I like moved in with them in Raymond, and then started working framing houses for a guy, out of Coaldale.
Who was it?
Jason Dewick.
Oh yeah, I know Dewick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jasher Holmes.
Jesse's a cold
I'm a Coldale boy.
All right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Like he was such a great boss, and it just
Small town thing's cool too, right?
yeah. It sucked driving in from Raymond every day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Every
bit of a little bit of a trek.
And like sometimes it'd be like, he'd say like, meet me in Lethbridge at this address, and then we'd like go from Lethbridge to Coldale, and maybe unload the trailer or pick something up, and then back into Lethbridge, and then back into Raymond. And I could have just met him every morning at his house and then just rode with him, but I like the idea of having my truck just in case.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and like you were probably young, right? How old are you?
I wasn't that young.
Were you old enough to be like, no, this is my truck. I'm going to drive my truck.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. Come on.
I was like mid-20s.
Yeah,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Anytime you have like ego involved, of course you're going to drive your own truck. Come on.
No, but yeah, I do remember just like never, like if I like got home from work and, get through the shower and stuff, and then man, I just want to sit up, because my parents did have a beautiful yard. Right, in Raymond, they've got these huge.
You probably
yards,
a big yacht. Yeah, big yard, big.
I'm
big
like,
lot. I was gonna say yacht,
big yacht,
big
yeah.
yard.
I just want
lot.
to crack a beer, right? And then I'd forget that I didn't pick up beer. And I'm like, fuck, damn it.
Oh,
Right.
it's only 45-minute trip.
But I don't think my parents made many friends in Raymond.
No, because they weren't part of the crowd.
They were like the drinking Catholics.
Right. I went out with a girl from Raymond. We went out like 3 times, and I went out there for like a fire at her mom's house, and I was like, I feel like I'm just not welcome. Yeah. Just coming into this town, I was probably hungover. Actually, you know what it was? I was leaving Canada Day. Feo played at Canada Day. I was mixing them, and I had to also tear down the Canada Day festival because I worked for DB Pro Audio, right?
Oh yeah.
But with Feo, we were drinking because it was like Canada Day or Drink Boats or whatever. So of course we were drinking.
Because I was gonna say it was Christian rock. So of course
this is post Christian rock.
Oh,
this is after the Christian rock.
okay.
Yeah. But we did an acoustic set actually. It went pretty good. But I was pretty drunk, and then I went out to Raymond, also drunk, to meet this girl's family that I had gone out with 2-3 times. And I was like, I'm gonna go back to work.
No more.
The mom.
No dice. No dice.
Man, I Raymond was when I was out there, when I first got here, I was kind of like, as a thank you to my parents, I'm just kind of like, how can I help out around the house? You're putting me up, and still didn't I didn't even know Lethbridge really yet, so I wasn't even at the point where I was like, this is where I want to live, or I want to try and find an apartment here. Like I was just came here, got a job working, right? But I was like, I helped build them a deck.
Nice.
And I had a penny nail or whatever, like a joist hanger nail, explode. The head blew off the nail and went into my eye.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
So like when you're like joist hangers.
That's the one part I have questions about.
If you ever look at framing, and you have like a 2x8 or a 2x10, it's the metal.
Oh, like the storm rattle thing. That's what pirates would call it. That's what we call it.
Storm rattle.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
So when it's windy, the beams don't move.
It's
yeah.
It's
storm rattly.
It's a joist hanger.
Oh,
okay. But they I mean they have like hand like nailers that you can use for them. They're like a pneumatic nailer. So you put the nail in and it just puts the nail in, but
at the angles and everything too, because like they have like pilot holes, right?
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, but it just rams it home. But I mean, for the everyday schmo, you're just using a hammer.
I was gonna say because I use the hammer. I use a nail gun for everything else, but I use a hammer for that.
They get really hot.
I bet.
That's
exactly why I would not want to use one.
Blasting them in. So I had this. The head of the nail exploded and it went into my eye, and instantly the strangest pain I've ever felt.
I bet.
But my face felt like it was like instantly on fire, and
sounds fucking nasty.
There was like a kiddie pool out for my cousins in the backyard, and I just like dove like headfirst in the pool trying to cool my face off. anyways, had to go to the hospital there.
Yeah.
And get. I had to get my eye frozen, which
That's awful, isn't it?
it's a weird.
I had that one once.
Feeling.
Did you? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and they put this. I don't know if you had this, but they put this dye in your eye, and so when they put the light on your eye, they can see the metal easier.
Okay.
So, anyways, I had that happen, and then this is really embarrassing, but a few months later or whatever, we were having a family gathering. The night before, I went out drinking, and I was already extremely dehydrated, and basically just went straight back to drinking the next day. No like water, and I was walking out the back door, and I passed out because I was so dehydrated, and I started convulsing on the back deck. So they had to call an ambulance.
Wow.
And ambulance came in from Sterling and brought me to the hospital, and they had to put me on a saline drip. And it was
wow.
That was pretty embarrassing.
I was expecting that to be an eye related thing again.
Yeah,
whatever.
no.
I thought you were going to put something into your eye.
Yeah.
And then I was out on the deck.
There I am.
There I was again, and I took 2 steps, and before I knew it,
fucking nail got me again.
bam!
I definitely haven't had anything.
Shrapnel in the eye.
I haven't had like shrapnel in the eye, but I was climbing down a tree at a buddy's house in like elementary school or something like that, and like just climbing down trying not to fall, and I got a branch in my eye, and it like like you can see it like bleed, like it looks like you have more blood vessels
in the
and
eyes.
shit. Oh man, and you're right, it was the most uncomfortable thing. Like,
it hurts.
It hurt so bad, but it was like where I didn't know where it hurt. It was like this dull, really painful.
Just the whole
the whole side of your face, man. It was just like it was so fucking strange.
Doesn't sound fun.
I've pepper sprayed myself by accident. so I can.
And you were embarrassed about the first one?
Oh God, I'll get to that one after this. But no, I that's how I would say it felt.
Okay.
It felt
like pepper spray.
I got a big shot of.
I've never been pepper sprayed.
No,
So.
I haven't either. I assume it's uncomfortable.
I was house sitting for a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And I like woke up at like 1 a.m. and I was just hungry. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna barbecue a steak.
Nice.
So I like went out, got the cover off, and I was like searching through the house for a lighter or something, right? And I reached up into the cupboard and I found it. I thought it was one of those like gun lighters, or like it has like the you know what I mean,
like a torch,
right?
like
a
torch,
torch, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, like
like a butane torch.
Yeah, I'm like, why won't it light? Why won't it light? And I'm like, there's this like red safety thing. And I like popped it off and pressed it, and it was fucking pepper spray.
Oh my God.
Shot directly into my face.
From
you're
point
like
blank,
so you're not
Point
even
blank.
you're not out there pointing at the barbecue doing this.
No.
Yeah.
He's shooting himself with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys?
Because I was like, why won't it light?
What
and
the
then
fuck?
I looked at it and I'm like, that red thing. And I like flicked it off and I'm like, that's weird. Like, why would it like fall off? Why would this red safety like fall off onto the
Because you
floor?
need it off quick when
Yeah.
you need it.
And I sprayed myself. And I grabbed the phone, and before my eyes got completely, drowned in tears and I couldn't see, I made my way to the couch, and I just like laid on the couch with my face off the side, and I could just feel like just snot and tears coming down. I had the phone in my hand, like ready to call 911, and I could hear their little dog. I don't know what it was. It was like a Bichon or something, just sneezing like crazy.
Like, what the fuck is going on in my house?
It was awful, man. I knew exactly what I had done to myself.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know, I'm pretty sure like I'll be fine. I don't think I need, outside.
Yeah, you don't need to go to the hospital. This is
here.
just, it's just very shitty.
I'll just wait it out
Yeah.
here. But yeah, I like just for like an hour, just straight, just whoa.
A friend of mine got pepper sprayed over like $30 a weed once. In Edmonton. He was like, he got given this phone number. He like just moved to Edmonton. He got a new job. He was, hey man, you know where to find some weed? Yeah man, no problem. I'll text this guy. I'll let him know you're coming. Okay, great. So he texts the guy, yeah, meet me here at whatever time, right? So it's like 9 o'clock at night. He like rolls the window down. He's like, hey man, you got the money? He's like, yeah. He hands him the like $30. Dude pepper sprays him and runs away.
Oh.
And it's like in
Over
his truck.
$30.
Over $30 of fucking weed. And shout out, it's my roommate Marcus. Shout out Marcus. And he had to call his mom, man. It was like, I can't drive home now. Like I'm fucked, right? Like what are you supposed to do? And like,
well, and I don't know the self-defense pepper spray.
his dog spray.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
basically?
it's got a lower ppm. It's like 0.72 in Canada.
So it wouldn't be. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm sure I could ask a family member who's a police officer, but I would imagine that a police officer's pepper spray is much worse than what. Or would it
I'm
be
not going to
the
talk
same?
out of my ass, but there's limitations in Canada. So like you can't.
Yeah,
I don't think
can't.
it's 0.8 in the States. You can have I think it's 0.8 because I bought one in Manitoba or in Montana and I brought it back and they kind of looked at it and they were just like, and then they put it back. But it was like 0.2 over. And it was like 0.81 to like 0.79 or something like that parts per million. But you can't carry it on you as a like just a concealed weapon, as it were, right? So my girlfriend can't carry. She used to manage a liquor store. She can't carry bear spray. She can carry dog spray, which is like 0.71.
Yeah. Well,
What's bear spray at?
Bear spray is like 0.8 in Canada, 0.79.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. There's limitations to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all
I
kinds
had
of limitations.
I had a buddy like spray bear spray at a campsite once.
Oh, no.
We were all in on it. Like we were like, yeah, do it, right?
Yeah.
Because we've never seen.
It's weird,
bear
right?
spray
It's
sprayed
a
before,
spray. It's like
right?
like a stream.
So we're like, yeah, man.
Kind of
just
makes sense. You want to get it
spray it
right in
that
their
way.
fucking eyes.
You want to be
when
able to
you're-
aim,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You want to get it.
But
like,
that stuff lingered for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a bad idea. We were like, I don't know, 30 feet away from our tents.
Yeah.
And spraying it away from our tents, you know.
And outdoors.
Yeah.
It still doesn't help.
obviously, yeah.
And it was just like in the air. Like it was, bad. I knew just all night, right? We're sitting there drinking. I'm like, I can taste it.
Well, because I mean, if the wind changes it all. You know,
and then my buddy had the bright idea to throw like a, those not a phone book, but the smaller directory,
Like a yellow book.
like a directory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's
threw one of those in the fire.
Threw it on the fire, and the thing, huge, embers went up in the air and landed on her tent, and it burnt because it was one of those like a regular
Like a pop tent or whatever.
pop tent. And those things go up like nothing. So the spark hit the tent and just went.
Oh,
in this
Jesus.
big 3-foot hole.
Oh
opened up in the
no.
tent. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're here for another 2 nights. This is going to be great.
Oh God.
You do much camping?
Me? No.
Yeah. We should come camping this
Almost
year.
like, you know what? The last time I've been like anything close to real camping, I was probably a teenager.
Really?
Oh, it's like,
bro.
like we're talking decades out now.
You should bring your family out. We should all go
Decades.
camping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We in the summertime I take the kids quite a bit, or I'll just take Isaac. Claire, it's kind of hard for her schedule wise. We do set aside like certain weekends that we all go.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I love about my setup, right? Is I can decide on a Friday at lunch.
Just
I
drive
can
away.
be like, yeah, we're going camping tonight, and then Claire, if she's home, we'll just throw together clothes for the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll usually just go on my lunch, pick up food, and then all our camping stuff is in bins at home.
That's awesome.
So you're just
That's
geared
so
up,
dope.
ready to go.
Yeah.
It's
throw 'em
important,
in the
man.
grill.
That's important. Like I talk about this, like even actually, you guys probably vibe with this. When my band played, I talked about having a suitcase of things that I would just like toiletries, hairbrush, toothbrush, like just so you don't have to fucking pack and do
What do
all
they
that
call
all the
that?
time.
Like a bug out gear?
A bug out bag.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Bug out
actually,
gear,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
But
bug
it-
out gear. Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Well,
Like we
it's
have
just-
it. We
yeah.
stay in hotels so fucking. And it's not like I'm trying to like fucking brag. It's just we've been having lots of family shit where we had to go to Calgary for a couple of days and come back. So we've been staying in so many hotels lately, man. It's just like we have 2 bags. It's just like, okay, we got to go. Okay, grab your pants, grab your underwear. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
let's go, right? Like
Well, and we're kind of at the point too where, we try to even have just clothes for the kids that are just like packed away, just ready for camping. Like they don't touch them otherwise, right? And that way you just you have clean clothes ready to go.
Yeah.
And swimming trunks, like how often
Yeah.
you forget those
Yeah.
and this and that, right?
I mean, the places we go, they can't really swim, but I mean, they will eventually, maybe. But like we like to go to Cottonwood Campground, which is like
Cottonwood. Where's
it's
that?
just past the Bigani Reserve.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yep.
is it past? Yeah, it's past it. But that's like the Old Man River.
Yep.
There is a area like on the there's a bridge down there, and if you cross the bridge, they like I think it's a man-made area that they built rocks up, and the water kind of
Oh, it's like
funnels
a
in and-
lazy river kind of thing.
like
Nice.
a little pool. But I mean, every time I've gone there, it's freezing.
Oh, yeah.
Right, like so.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in.
I've seen people down there swimming, but I'm like,
Yeah.
not for me.
Not that
I
brave.
can't swim either. That's the other thing. I can't swim.
You can't, what?
Oh, really?
No.
You're
Wait,
not a swimmer?
what? Really?
You're so tall.
So does that make it better?
Yeah, you got a long, like,
Oh.
you can
closer to the
hold so
bottom.
much water.
No.
I mean, there is no deep end for Matt.
I mean, I should say, like when we go to Osoyoos for vacation, I'll jump off the boat,
Of course.
in the middle of the lake,
Okay.
and I can float and
Yeah.
kind of tread water,
But you're not going to swim across the lake for fun.
but I'm not.
Well, Jesus, I couldn't do that.
I'm not going to get more than 10 feet away from the boat.
That's it, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
I love
I mean,
swimming.
I was late to learn swimming by I guess kid standards.
Definition.
It was like 12 or 13, I think, before I really learned how to swim. And then I loved it. And then, I mean, I have, again, like camping, I haven't done it in fucking forever, like in
Way
any
too long.
serious way, like actually,
Yeah.
swimming laps at a pool or
I'm
out
kind of
doing something, right?
Isaac's in
So-
swim lessons right now.
Yeah, I got to get my daughter
And-
in swim lessons. She can't swim at all. right now,
Can I make
so-
a recommendation?
Yes.
So they do have. So Isaac goes to group lessons at Stan's
group?
Seawick. or-
We've done 2 rounds of group lessons. Neither one of them took.
he is now. So his group lessons are kind of. I think he has like one left.
Yeah.
But he's overlapped with private lessons at the university.
And that's what I was thinking was private lessons
The
of some kind.
the amount of improvement he's made over 2 lessons is insane.
I bet.
With private?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This guy, his name's Aiden. He's like just this like superhuman young.
What's his
fit
last
guy.
name?
I don't know his last
Oh.
name. But yeah, he's
He's all jacked and can swim
oh
good.
he's
If he's
yeah.
jacked and can swim good, I know
He's
who
like
he is.
super- he's like he's Superman.
Dave liked that one. Dave liked that one.
I did like that one.
But no, I mean
Jesse knows who all the greased up young boys are.
it's more
all
money,
smooth and slick.
right? So
Then they
it's-
can
it's
swim.
more
They can,
money.
Of course
then they
it
can
is,
save
yeah.
you because you don't know how to swim.
Well, that's-
but
and
they'll
I'm
actually
also
get
sitting there
something
taking
out
pointers.
of it, right? They'll actually get something out of it. Is the thing. Like I remember that. Like when I was young, I couldn't learn until I did a private kind of one-on-one sort of lesson. It was my brother and I, and eventually my mom just was like, "Okay, you guys need to learn how to swim." Took us. This is out east. Took us to I don't know, some fucking jacked up fucking young 20-something-year-old
Yeah.
guy, probably.
Someone with big calves.
I mean, I was like
Trying to pay
11,
his
12,
university
13
bill.
or whatever at the time. I can't remember. Like probably about 12. Yeah, exactly. He's just trying to make money. And taught us how to swim in like a few lessons.
Yeah.
Like super quick. Like anything that I've taken my daughter to group lessons. I mean, mind you, it was years ago now. It was a few years ago. She's not that old, like 8, but this is several years ago, I guess now. And yeah, she got nothing out of it. Like 2 rounds we've done of these group lessons. Nothing. I think it's the private lessons is the way to
Yeah,
go. With that.
I think that the group lessons
this
are
job.
great for
It's barely working. I can't figure it out.
just like any other sport, right? It's great for that camaraderie and I mean,
See?
I don't think you're getting anything.
Yeah.
Like when I played sports, that really helped me with socializing, right? And I think it's great for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't even imagine being a swim teacher with a group.
Well, and
Like-
and kids to boot, right? Like they're
'Cause they're
not
just
really
all over
paying
the place,
attention.
yeah.
Like you're just trying to keep an eye on them, make sure
Yeah.
they're not drowning somewhere. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I get it. It's just
and it's only a half hour.
Yeah,
right?
you
and
get
so
the-
they're like Isaac has 6 kids in his swim group, so it's like
That's not that hard to manage, though.
it's
Well,
not.
no, but
the
it
problem-
is,
The
though, like,
problem
to
is
teach
What about
them
what about a
anything.
teacher though?
to teach them anything though. Like you got to understand, like
No, I
kids
get
at that
that.
age,
I get,
you know what I mean?
I get where you're coming
Like-
from. I'm just saying that you got a half an hour, 6 kids.
yeah,
Like let's say you're going through an exercise like a back glide or a back. I think they call them back floats or front glide,
Sure.
right? You know, you're like 2 to 5 minutes just trying to show one kid how to do that. None of the other kids are paying attention.
yeah.
That's fair.
So you have to go through
30
every
minutes,
single kid, and the 30 minutes is gone.
30 minutes of 6 kids, right? You have 5 minutes a kid,
Yeah.
right? 5 minutes a kid for the whole time to get the whole thing done. None of them are
Yeah.
paying attention, and like, yeah, if you've ever dealt with young kids and had to deal like to try to get
Yeah.
them to do any fucking thing, to get my daughter to brush her teeth and get her shit on in the morning to go to school is enough of an effort. You know,
Yeah.
to get her to have a shower at night is enough of a fucking
I
effort.
was like that.
I mean,
Right?
he has
Yeah,
fun.
like, but-
Isaac has fun.
Oh, it
course.
might be fun, but yeah, they're not learning anything when there's a group of them and it's a small amount of time and it's one teacher. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, like I said, I've done 2 rounds of this whole like
Yeah.
group lesson thing. It's for shit.
his private
you get
lesson
nothing
is-
out of it.
It's 45 minutes long,
Yeah,
and
it's just the 2 of them.
just the 2 of them,
That's-
and
that's-
they
yeah,
have
and,
Yep.
and he would
they have
learn
a blast.
something.
They're
Yeah.
always laughing, and
Yeah,
you know, and I'm sitting there taking notes on how to swim.
yeah.
I got this. Right? All the other parents are like reading, or they're
Yeah.
not even watching, and I'm like the only parent, like you
It's
know,
amazing.
laser eyes.
Man,
watching.
like all the athletic shit that you talk about, I'm surprised you're not like a championship swimmer
No,
to boot.
I
It
had
goes
a-
that way, man.
I had a bad experience when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I fell off a dock with a life jacket on,
Yeah.
and the loop caught on something under the dock.
Oh,
And I wasn't strong enough to I couldn't get myself off of it. So I was
Oh,
like
geez.
upside down for a little while, like basically
Crazy.
drowning.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was my uncle
Scooped you off.
like scooped me off or whatever, but it just like freaked me out.
of course.
And ever since then, I never really. I mean, and it's kind of sad because there was. I think they actually just changed it. Maybe there's a swimming pool in Prince George called the Four Seasons swimming pool, and my grandfather named it. Right, so it's kind of like
Really?
yeah,
Huh, that's cool.
yeah. He he had a knack for it. There's like I found this out like only a couple of years ago. And my grandpa named all these different buildings in Lethbridge.
Oh, oh, in Lethbridge.
Or sorry, in Prince George.
Prince
I was
George.
going to say, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's like, dude, your grandpa named the swimming pool in Prince George, and you can't swim. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
That's neat.
Right.
Wow.
But yeah, I just I never have. Like I said, I can float and I can.
Yeah,
You know, but
I mean,
you-
for
you
my
survive, right?
ability
You
to
do
swim at
not
this
want
point,
me
I don't
to-
even know what I'd call
I
it.
love swimming.
I know I used to be able to swim. It's been so long that
Like
Oh.
rivers.
I assume I
freak
can
me
still
out.
do it.
Really?
They freak
Oh,
me out.
man, I love swimming.
I mean, again, maybe because in Prince George, that's where the Fraser and the Nechako meet.
It's big rivers.
Big rivers,
Yeah.
and they have crazy undercurrents and stuff like that. And people get
Yeah,
drowned.
I
all the
didn't
time.
spend a lot of time like swimming in open water. Like where I was from, it was the closest thing for me was the Bay of Fundy.
Oh, really?
Which is the highest tides in the world.
I was gonna say.
40 feet up, 40 feet down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's nice. It's nice, though.
Oh, it's. Well, I grew up. I didn't think it was anything special
course,
at all.
right?
I
Yeah.
thought it was just that's how the fuck tides work.
I've been
but
feeling that a lot in
apparently it's not.
Lethbridge lately, though. Like I grew up here and I don't really care about it, and then I've been trying to really appreciate Lethbridge lately.
Anywhere you are,
coolies
you don't
and stuff.
really like you think it's normal. You see it all the time. It's all just the same shit. It's whatever,
Yeah.
right? You take it for granted. I noticed this about license plates today. It's weird enough that you say it, but looking and seeing, oh, it's a BC plate or an Alberta plate, and thinking, oh, these are just like normal whatevers. If I saw, like a Nova Scotian one, I'd be like, oh, that's really weird now. Whereas if I was out there, I think that was just a normal whatever.
The Alberta
thing.
one's weird, right?
I don't know why I thought about the license plate thing now, but I thought about it earlier for some reason.
That's
it just
fine.
jogged my mind of
You know what, though?
Yeah.
I had so many people say to me when I told them I was moving to Lethbridge, they're like, "Oh my god, like there's nothing. It's just flat and boring." And
Even worse, Lethbridge is in a dip.
you know what?
Lethbridge is
Though?
low.
I gotta say, of course, driving back through BC, you go through the Parkway, and yeah, it's amazing. But driving from like,
Raymond to Coldell.
I'm trying to think of, yeah,
It's just not the same for some reason.
I think it's is it McBride?
Where?
I can't remember.
Where you-
McBride to Prince George. It's just trees. That's all it is.
So it's no different.
right?
There's nothing to see.
It's kind of boring. There are some areas
odd animal.
that you start to get into like mountains and valleys, and yeah, that's beautiful. But there's some spots where you drive for hours and it's just trees going by, and that's all you can really see. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just a different kind of thing here.
Yeah, I got you.
You know,
Well, you know, it's like talking about landscapes and stuff. Where I was from originally, out east, it was sort of like that, very hilly, trees. The thing I noticed was after being out here for a while and then going back out there, was I missed the sky. Like I'd go back there to visit and I'd be driving around and I would notice that because of the hills, because of the trees, because of the landscape, it made me feel almost a little claustrophobic
okay,
in
yeah,
a sense, right?
yeah.
Whereas out here, you know,
It's so
in
open.
Alberta, these fucking fields,
Yeah.
you know,
There's no reference point.
there's no reference point, and you look out and you see forever,
Yeah.
right? Like you look up and over, and you are literally seeing for hundreds of
Until you can't.
kilometers around. Yeah, basically you see till where you can't. Whereas that's not a thing in Nova Scotia. It's you know not a thing in chunks of BC.
Yeah.
Like you said, you see trees, you see whatever. You know, you got
And
hills.
man,
if you-
I
you
love
know,
the coulees.
Yeah.
You know, I
Is
love
it beautiful?
I love that kind of terrain. You know, I feel like I'm on Mars or something.
Well, even
you know,
the
in
coolies
some
are
areas.
like for Alberta landscape.
lot, right?
It's
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. Like there's so much of this province is just fucking
flat.
fields.
Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
you-
Like for me, the drive from here to Calgary or
Oh,
up to
man, that
Edmonton
is
or
the
whatever,
worst one.
It's just like, oh man, this is
Medicine
man.
Hat to Calgary.
This is
the
just
worst.
we used to
fucking
drive
boring.
from Prince George to Ottawa
How many days? 6?
every second year.
Oh,
6
yeah.
days?
Less than 2.
What? Just do it overnight?
No joke.
Yeah, you
really?
can-
Non-stop.
That sucks. We did
Non-stop.
13 hours a day for 6 days to PEI, and then we had 7 days on the way back.
Oh man.
See,
13 hours a day.
When I moved out here, my parents drove back out to meet me for my high school graduation when I was in 12th grade.
Yep.
And like 3 days after that graduation, we got in a minivan and we drove back out here. They were living here at the time. They drove out to get me, and then we drove back out through all the northern states. We dropped into the states to save money on gas. We did it in 5 days.
Wow.
From Nova Scotia, so we dropped into Maine,
Yep.
and then popped back up in Montana.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, like, picture
We
that.
did the
So-
opposite of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the Atlantic Ocean to
Yeah.
here, and
Which is a province away from the Pacific Ocean.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So-
5,000 clicks, man.
but if you
5,000
switch
clicks.
off drivers, you can do
Yeah.
it. Like we did-
My
it was a
parents
week.
would try and like go a different route every time
Yeah.
to make it interesting. So same
Wouldn't be the
Trans-
same
Canada
thing.
sucks,
We
eh?
sometimes went like down in the States.
yeah.
But every time going around Lake Superior.
I love Lake
brutal.
Superior. Because you
Brutal.
can camp on that lake twice in 2 days after 13 hours of driving, I
It's
learned.
insane. You think you're there. You're not.
No?
Yeah.
You're not. Like we would, oh man.
It's crazy that the Great Lakes have tides. I forget about that. They're big enough to have tides. I ran on Lake Michigan. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. I ran from one point to the next because when I was traveling at the time, I was like a soccer player. Like we played like pretty high tier soccer, and I love swimming, so we were going to PEI to build a house and do all the landscaping and stuff. And then my family's from a little island 100 miles northeast of that, it's in the middle of the ocean. And the difference is there's nothing out there except for ocean. It's just flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you point on the compass. You're never a kilometer away from water.
Right.
Where we're from, it's just a little sandbar.
Well, and there, I actually lived on PEI when I was a kid.
Did you? Where?
Oh, well, Charlottetown.
Oh, okay. Because I built a house in Summerside. You can see Charlottetown right across the way.
Well, you can drive the perimeter of PEI in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Four hours of driving, and you can make it all the way around. PEI,
on our island, it's 45 minutes from one tip to one tip. But it's just tiny. It's part of Quebec, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the interesting thing for me is like I could swim and swim and swim and swim. And I could like, okay, the ocean's right there. There's like the little sand barge over there. I'll just swim over there. That's no problem. I love it. But I do get freaked out. I do get freaked out by the water because it's just like anxiety. It's just like, what if something grabs me and pulls me down? I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For me, it's more like jellyfish. I didn't want to get fucking stung.
No, so I don't know if where you're from is like this, but where my family's from, I think it's 4 years, they have like a jellyfish infestation. They're everywhere. You can't go.
It's like a weird migratory.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I don't remember infestation. They were there like all the time.
Yeah,
like,
they're there all the time.
Year,
you see them on the beach and they storm and you pick them up.
And they were like the bad kind? Because I know
they're
they're not
this
like
big.
horrible or nothing, but
I know
they leave
like,
red marks.
They could sting you. It was not like Australia where the fucking things will kill you.
Right.
But
put you in a shock when they sting you.
I don't want to get stung.
No, man.
You don't want to be out there swimming around and get stung by a bunch of fucking jellyfish.
No, we were jumping off my uncle's boat. Same thing. We were just jumping off the boat, and it was like everyone was like, okay, so if you jump off here, the ladder's here, you just come back up, eat your hot dog, jump back in. So it's just like jump in and swim, right? But then you jump in, and when you hit the water, it was my first time. Well, it wasn't my first time jumping in the ocean, but it was my first time like remembering that I was jumping in the ocean, and it was so salty that I panicked and I like breathed in because I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, it went up, and I was like, oh yeah, there's jellyfish fucking everywhere. And then it was like, I was like, oh shit. It's just like a little red mark. Oh, yeah. It's just like a little red mark. I thought like it would be like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I did the same thing when we Claire's cousin when we went to her wedding in New York.
Oh,
and
really?
They have
sounds fancy.
Yeah.
It's very fancy.
I've never been to New York.
Me neither.
So her aunt and uncle have several houses.
Oh, wow.
Several.
Estates even.
Yeah.
Well, look at this.
They're a very wealthy family. But they have one of their houses is like a beach house.
Nice.
And it's like a declared historic site.
Of course.
I don't know. Anyways, they had I don't know what you call the day after the wedding. It's like a
day after the wedding.
Well,
the day where you find out what sex is.
No, it's like a reception or like where just the close family kind of gets together.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I
think traditionally it's when you do the gifts.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Right after, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it's like the gift giving thing or the whatever. I know what you're talking about.
But we got invited to it, and her cousin Robbie, who's kind of guy's got so much energy and just loves life, but he was like, hey man, like, you want to go swimming in the ocean? I'm like, I can't really swim, but yeah, let's do this. Right. So
Robbie's on coke, all love and life, all full of energy.
I was really drunk for sure.
So you're drunk. Robbie's on coke.
He brought
you're
out his surfboard, but they're like the waves weren't
surfable.
Not at all. Not at all. But
they got to be just right, man.
I did the same thing. Like, man. I wasn't thinking at all like this is the ocean, and I'm so used to like I grew up in freshwater, swimming in freshwater lakes, and you'd swallow that shit every now and then.
No, it tastes different.
Who cares, right?
No, it's different.
I dove in and swallowed a bunch, and I was oh shit!
And it comes right back out. Doesn't it?
So gross.
Yep.
So gross.
I went surfing in Costa Rica, and it was very salty there too. And so same thing, like you would eat shit and it would just like, you didn't know where you were. You're just tumbling and then a wave hits you and you get a mouthful of water and you're like, God, this tastes bad. Spit it all out and like, can't get me back on the board.
See, I grew up on that shit, man. I used to eat fucking dulse. You guys ever eat dulse?
No, what's that?
Seaweed. It's just straight dried seaweed. They just
I eat
pull it out of the
sushi.
fucking water. They dry it and sell it in bags for like big fucking bag for $1 or whatever.
I
yeah.
bet.
Good for you though.
And it's just, I'm sure it probably was. Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, seaweed. It's just full of whatever, I don't know, algae and plankton and
A bunch of vitamins, I'm sure.
What's
Probably a
that
bunch of
body of water
vitamins,
isn't there like a body of water somewhere in the world where it's like it's so
Dead Sea. You
Yeah,
can't
the Dead
sink.
Sea.
You can't sink, right?
In Egypt, isn't it? Yeah.
It's in the Middle East somewhere.
I thought it was in Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
I think you're right. I was going to say Dead Sea, but
Yeah, it's the dead. It's got
Yeah.
so
Dead
much
Sea,
salt.
yeah.
Like, you know, if you go up and it's just buoyant, right? So
Yeah.
it's like if you kick your feet out, it just picks you up.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Like, you know, it's hard to sink. Like, okay, Ryland, y'all know Ryland Moran's, right? When he was getting his aviation license, he was like, planes are cool because like planes fly and they don't like to fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you actually have, like, there has to be something really wrong for a plane to fall. It's the same as like floating, man. It's like,
Fuck, that's good to know.
it is, yeah. It's really relieving, isn't it? But like
here's
it's
the
like
thing,
floating.
though,
Like,
those little tiny planes that he flies, though.
Oh, they fall out of the
feel
sky
like-
all the time.
I feel like they have
I went up in one. Well,
issues more often
I guess.
than.
Well, yeah, okay. One time I went up like. I went up with Evie and one of like her little friends for this. It was for the Blast program a couple of
Okay,
years
yeah,
back, and they at the Lethbridge Airport, and they had somebody like fly you up. It was like a
Yeah.
one seater,
Yeah.
like two little
Nope.
kids could fit in the back.
Oh, I
And it was like he's sitting up there, I'm sitting next to him,
Loud as all hell.
all loud as hell, and it was like a flying lawnmower. You know what I mean? Like the thing is just rocking and moving.
It's got like a wood, like a wood stick.
Dude, get this
To drive
Okay, we're up in this. We're going around Lethbridge. I mean,
Yeah.
and all around. Like you see the west side, the north
Yeah.
side.
That's a
south,
cool
like,
experience.
All of it, right? Like it was neat. It was all cool. At one point, and I'm up there with this guy. And I'm trying to play it cool because it's my
Yeah.
daughter and one of her friends in the back, right?
Yeah.
They're like 5, 6, or whatever it was. It was a couple of years ago. He's like, "Okay, now you fly." I'm like, and I guess I should say, first of all, the guy was he was like Pakistani or something, like to
Yeah.
begin. So it was kind of
Broken
broken
English.
English, and he's like kind of sort of talking to me, and it's like,
because it's so loud.
you know what I mean? Like you're not hearing anything, and all I see him do is
Push
okay,
this button.
and he's like, because it was like a 2 control unit,
A lot
right?
of them are.
Yeah, right. Like I guess it would be for like teaching people how to fly or
Yeah.
something. He's like, okay, all right, here you go. I'm like, what? He takes his hands off of the fucking
Yoke or whatever.
it's called,
Steering wheel.
the steering wheel. We start going like this down. I'm like, what the? I grab this fucking thing and I pull it. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this guy is letting me fly this fucking plane
Oh
with my
my God.
daughter in the back. I'm like, okay, all right, stay calm here. Stay calm. Stay calm. You're flying this fucking plane. This guy's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all I'm hearing is I'm seeing his mouth moving. I'm like,
And you're just sweating.
Planes coming at you.
oh, you want to talk about like white knuckle? Like, I'm flying us over top of Lethbridge. I could have
Is it like
crashed
boats?
us.
You go right.
Yeah.
Always go right.
Oh man, like what? I could have crashed us into anything down there if I'd have let it. I'm just like,
Nah, he
oh
would've
my,
taken care
no,
of ya.
he would have. I'm sure
Yeah.
he would have. But at that time, for a few seconds, I mean, it was cool, but sometimes it was a little fucking freaky.
Oh, I bet.
But then it was cool again, and then it was fucking freaky.
So okay, you know what? That leads me to a really cool point, and I don't want to get all political on this, and I don't want to talk
Do
about
it.
it. No.
Get on it.
I'm not
Yeah.
smart enough in
Where
politics.
are we
to get into
going
it.
with this?
But no. But like with all the like war and everything going on in Europe, that's
What war? What are you talking about?
that's what got me going
There's
on the whole
something
camping
happening?
thing, because like I found that I
You
don't
think
do.
hiding in the woods is going to help you with the fallout?
It might.
I don't know.
Dave, don't fucking tempt me. No. But like, what I realized was like I was frustrated at the point that it's just like all I do is work and sleep. I fell into that again.
Yeah.
It was like, and it was like, if all this fucking crazy shit in Europe stretches over here, I'm gonna be really frustrated that I spent my last little while or however long just working and sleeping.
Dude, the last like couple of weeks, I've been not like fully intentionally thinking this, but
I feel like I'm breathing on this heavily.
That's
I'm
okay.
trying not
breathe
to.
away, buddy.
I have a very sensual.
It's like an ASMR thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I've been thinking, okay, it's funny because I've been getting up and I've been being happier, even at work and
Nice.
and whatever. And I've just been thinking,
It's the haircut.
well, that only happened this morning, so I don't think that was.
I just
don't think
wanted to
that
out you.
affected it. Yeah, just out. Yeah, I buzzed it all off.
Anyway, go
Took
on.
it all off this morning. No, I was literally thinking like there was a couple of times this week where I was like, if the bombs go off and this is it, do I want to be like miserable and hateful?
Yeah, right.
On my way to fucking work today. You know what I mean? Like if this is it, like what if this is the last like few weeks or
last
whatever?
spring.
What? Who knows? Maybe this is the last couple of months we have on this fucking earth, because I do not trust that the people in power on our side of the pond or the other side of the pond really have a firm grasp or understanding of what they're doing and how they're poking each other on this and what could happen if it goes to where it could go. And I've just been thinking, well, fuck. Do I want to be miserable and like all worried about shit that's going on, or do I just want to be kind of happy and being decent to the people around me? Because what the fuck if I look up at the sky and I just see that flash and it's
I
like,
looked.
yeah, right. We're all inside and we're looking.
We're all looking.
But legit, like you look up and you see just there's
actually-
that spark in the sky, and then you know that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just make it. Just shake hands. Here we go.
I had somebody tell me something once about work and stress, and because I used to take it home a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I still do.
Me too.
Trying not to. But I've been trying something lately that they kind of suggested. But basically he said, every day when I leave work, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is or where it is, but he's like, there's something that I walk by every day when I leave work, and I touch that and I dump all my work problems there. Just a simple touching a
Interesting.
physical
Yeah.
object. And then he said, when I come back to work in the morning, I touch it, I pick my problems back up.
Oh yeah.
That's smart.
Right.
Smart.
And he said the more you do it, the more you kind of train yourself to, because you can't do anything at home.
It's a physical.
I mean, maybe
yeah.
maybe some people have jobs where yes, they could be doing something about it at home, which would lead to the stress still being there. But for somebody like me, if I
Can't take my car home to work on.
exactly.
Right?
If I'm working on a car and I have I don't know, something happens, like it's a
Strip of screw or
2000 Camry that's rusted to shit, and I've charged 4 hours to get this part off, and now it's taking me 8 because everything's rusted. I still only get paid 4, but I got to do it, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. But yeah, it's like I can't take that home. So why?
Well, that's I mean that leads to kind of a whole bigger thing, right? That just the idea of being able to separate from those.
It's hard.
Those stressors, right? That get you every day. It's so hard, man.
Right?
It's so hard. Like, I mean, yeah, being able to compartmentalize certain things and to be able to turn your brain off to it. Like, I mean, it's good and it's bad. If you get too good at it, you get to the point
Disengaged.
where you disengage
Yeah.
and you don't deal with things well. But if you can't do it enough, then you
Delusional.
get overwhelmed by life, right?
Yep.
Like things take you over. Like you said, things at work spill over into your personal life, and things in your personal life spill into your work life, and whatever, right? There's all sorts of different ways these things get screwed up and cause problems for you. But yeah, being able to separate those out in a healthy way. I think that's the trick. Like that's what I've been trying to learn too. Is just how do I turn off the things? I'm a bit of an anxious person. I sometimes I worry about things that are going to happen, and
I
sometimes
take meds for it.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, it affects me.
I get it.
Yeah, it affects me in the way that it's like I know it keeps me from doing certain things that I would want to do with life. And
Like what?
Well, just I'm getting better at it, like little by little by little. Socialization was one, right? I isolated myself after my divorce for, going on 4 years now, It's only been in the last while that I've really been kind of opening up in any way and getting out there again, you know.
Which is why we gotta go camping. Just saying.
Well, anything,
Just
right?
saying.
Like, and any things to go out and do, right? It's a big step for me personally to just have people around and to do stuff, right? Just talking, doing this podcast, doing whatever. And it's really good for me. I always feel better after it. I feel more charged up. But I fall prey to those things, right? That you know, work used to be one of those things that it would consume me after I was done. You know, I couldn't let it go.
Come home and be at work still.
Come home and still be at work, or worry about having to go back to work was the other thing. You know, sometimes it's just the idea that.
Should we take the time to thank
I just
our
wanna put it right in the
maybe
middle.
someday sponsor?
Well, someday sponsor. They're from Calgary too.
This is from Lacombe.
Oh,
Blind Man River Session.
there's a car in the bottom of the lake at Lacombe.
That's
Sounds like a song, doesn't it?
or
There's a car in the bottom
mystery
of the lake.
solved.
Yeah, if you didn't know what was in the bottom of the lake of Lacombe, it's a car.
Maybe a crime solved.
Maybe a crime. There might be a body down there.
Sorry, but our sponsor interrupted. Sorry, Dave.
Oh,
Keep
no,
talking.
it's all good.
You keep talking.
Keep talking. What were we talking about?
Do you remember where we were?
I don't know, like bullshits and
Being
anxiety.
anxious,
Yeah.
No, it's just that's
Separating
that's
from
a
work.
cool-
Panic attacks?
That's a cool.
Did we talk about this last time?
I don't know if we
Off
did or
camera.
I
not.
don't think we did.
I had a panic disorder in December. I had like 3-hour panic attack after panic attack after panic attack for like 16 hours a day.
Ugh.
And then they gave me Advans basically at my disposal. They were like, you can have 3 milligrams a day, so 1 milligram tablets 3 times a day for 3 weeks. They gave them to me, and then said, "Okay, wean off these all by yourself while you're having a panic disorder, while you're having panic attack." And it's like I came up with a very firm definition of like what panic was, what anxiety was, what mindfulness was, and what delusion was for me, because they are all very separate, but they make me feel the exact same. If that makes sense. Panic and anxiety and depression, all basically like the visceral response is the exact same, but my thought process is different. And that's how I've separated it.
Yeah.
And so I know how to address all of them separately as well.
Well, a lot of it's worry, right? I mean, if anxiety, you're worrying about something that hasn't happened
Something
yet,
that
that could
hasn't
potentially happen. Depression tends to be worrying about
Stuck
things
in the
that
past.
already have,
Yep.
right? Things in the past.
Yeah. So the double negative for me, just as a human, is all my anxiety is focused around people's perception of me that I can't control. And then my anxiety is about running into them and having a confrontation. So it's like I prep myself for both every single time, and it's so frustrating because it's like same thing. Like I don't have a day job. I'm super fortunate, right? I do the YouTube thing, and I contract through my dad for like some landscaping and stuff. Like I'm super fortunate, but like I get tied up in the same kind of anxieties because I can't let it go.
Yeah.
I'll have a confrontation with someone at our campground, which doesn't matter like at all, right?
No.
And then from that, I will be anxious and I will take it home and I'll stew on it and I'll sit at home and I'll be quiet and I won't eat healthy food and I'll do all the same shit. It's,
See,
it's the exact same.
I used to do like that sort of stuff with customers at the store, but now it's I don't know. I've gotten really good at letting that just roll like right off. I mean, like angry people that I shouldn't say it rolls right. It takes a little bit of time, but you know, you get worked up in the moment when you know somebody's ripping your ear off over the phone or having a fit at you in person. But rather than let that like consume me, I've been able to turn that off. I mean, for me, it's been, and I've been better at this side now too, but it's coworkers, right? Or whatever that where.
Well, that's a huge responsibility for you. Like you manage a store, right? Like
I manage a store, and it's the funny thing is like a lot of, or a chunk of the people there, they used to just be buddies of mine, right?
Yeah.
So
which can be tough.
Yeah. So then it's a different dynamic. It kind of changes how that whole thing works. I've gotten better with it now of how this whole thing rolls and not letting it affect me as much. But yeah, there's definitely for a while where anyone else's negativity would wear on me.
Yeah.
You know, and I would take that home and I would stew on it, and it would be like I said, the customers weren't an issue anymore. It's like I made my peace with the idea that their opinions didn't matter.
Yep.
You know, but people that were, you know, like that I was friends with or what, you know, those opinions still
got to
still got to me more. And now it's getting to where it's less and less and less. And it's, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I'm starting to like I'm moving my way towards a position where it almost doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion is.
Yeah.
And it just matters what I think about me and what I'm doing. And if anyone thinks it's cool or stupid or whatever, like it really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
It's just I do what I do, and if you're into it, then be a part of it. And if you're not, then don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of the responsibility of being a leader, right? Like
just being an individual, man.
Right. Being an individual.
Can't wait for someone else's approval to do anything. Like, come on.
Like my first like bass player in I guess like my first big band that I played in. I want to say like band that was doing gigs and recording albums and stuff, right? He was also my best friend, but I worked for him. So he worked for a company, or he owned the company, but he subcontracted to Shaw Cable, and we basically dug trenches and replaced, because back in the day they used to just bury coax cable in the ground with no.
They still do in some cases,
right?
Yeah.
So
I worked for a call center that dealt with that. Yeah.
So we were hired to go in and replace these buried lines with conduit. So we would run the conduit from the cable pedestal to the cable box on the house. But yeah, like, I mean, if you ever met Terrence, amazing guy, like would do anything for you, the most loyal, just such an awesome friend. But he just kind of said to me, like when I first started working for him, he's like, listen, I'm going to get this out of the way like right now. He's like, there might be times where like you mess up at work and like I yell at you or whatever, but he's like, I guarantee you that when 5 o'clock hits, we can go get a beer.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Not holding on.
He's like, I'm not going to hold on to anything. Yeah. He's like,
the moment's the moment, right?
Oh, he just said, he's like, just understand, like,
yeah, I get that side of it.
Stress
I really get that side of it as a manager, and I'm taking it one step further in the learn to not freak out on people part of it, because like my natural, in years gone by, my natural inclination was to get a little hot.
Yeah,
Dave and I would squabble all the time when I worked for Dave.
Yeah. We there was
a few times
there was some shit, right? And it's happened with a lot of people, right? And I've learned over the years there's a time and a place for the heavy hammer to come down.
Yeah.
And it's not as often as I thought it was.
Definitely not as often,
right? It's one of those things where you leave it in reserve, and it's there for the times you got to really go. But most of the time now, it's like, people don't respond to people that yell at them or freak out on them or whatever.
Like my buddy, he prepared me for it too. Because when we were digging trenches, I mean, we had equipment, right? So we had a hydro bore, which is like basically a big 5,000 pound machine with like a drill on the front of it, and we could attach long steel rods to it and bore
stick the conduit line.
Yeah, we could go under concrete driveways,
under roads,
and then behind it, it was called a sneaker. But behind it, it also had a blade, so we could, if you dug like a 3-foot trench,
is that wide or deep?
Long.
Oh, okay.
And then our trenches were only this wide.
Oh, okay.
And then they were about, I think 20 inches deep.
That sounds about right.
I can't. It's quite a while.
Well, you got to bury it below the frost, right?
Yeah. But basically, if you had a clean shot, so we would go Terrence would go the night before, and he would locate he had like a $20,000 locator, but he would locate all the gas lines, all that stuff. And if we had a clean shot from the house to the box, perfect. You just dig a trench at the 3-foot trench at the house, 3-foot trench at the box, and then you put the conduit through the blade, and you just pull it through the ground, and it would leave like a little tiny slit in the grass, and you would just go over it with like
just pack it back
like
in place.
A push broom, and you couldn't even tell.
It's nuts.
And I mean, it was funny because we'd show up to jobs sometimes, and Tellus would be there at the same time, and they did everything with a ditch witch, everything.
You know
And
why?
So they would we'd get there.
I don't know what a ditch witch is, but I love the
it's
name.
a big wheel with chains on it.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
like
that
a trencher.
fucking- get
I've
that
shown you
ditch
pictures of my
witch out.
trenchers. Like on
Oh,
our
okay.
Bobcat, we have like a big.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I can picture it
mangles
now.
the ground,
Yeah.
right? It just makes a mess.
They got in trouble for not cleaning up Edmonton. They made a big mess in Edmonton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I shouldn't
so-
talk so much about them. But
But anyways,
every time you come here, I get lippy.
Sorry. But I guess what I was getting at is, he kind of prepared me. He's like, listen, like this job, like we've got equipment running.
Yeah. I get it.
Sometimes we'll be like boring
I
under
get it.
concrete, and I need you to tell me if that concrete is moving or heaving, right? Because sometimes you'd start to go onto the driveway, and this like $20,000 concrete driveway would like start to heave.
Yeah,
Right?
there's
So-
a difference between like, and I grew up doing around
Yeah.
guys and doing it myself, like
Yeah.
different
But
labor
he was like,
jobs,
I'm gonna yell
right?
at you.
Yeah, and I understand that world. Like I said, every male, adult male in my life as a kid was a laborer. I grew up doing labor work. That was the thing. You're out on the job. You fuck up, some guy fucking comes over, some grizzled old bastard comes over and
Yeah.
fucking screams at you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand like that world of it, and it is a different thing. Like
Yep.
when you're doing that sort of stuff,
There's a new way though.
it's a different world than like what I work in, right? And I guess
for sure.
for me, like I took
It's
that.
a different world than today's world. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Well, I took that mindset of that, gruff labor world into,
Right. Okay.
right
Yeah.
into more
Yep.
into the retail setting where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a lot less like
Intense.
you said, like you don't have to worry about somebody's driveway fucking heaving or
There's no life or
whatever.
death.
There's no life or death. It's
Just
not like
give
something
good,
gets
good customer service.
just
smile and
be a nice guy and smile
Yeah.
and be happy and
Yeah.
just put up with the occasional
try and know some things.
yeah, deal with the occasional Karen coming
These
in
are
and
guitar
having a fit
strings.
about this or that, or
Yeah.
the irritating guy.
Yeah, no, for
you know,
sure.
and you don't need to get as upset. Like there's not the urgency that requires the response of holy fuck, you're fucking this thing up, you're
Yeah.
gonna ruin this,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
whatever, right? And
What-
there's a time and place for all that sort of thing. But I think generally speaking, people tend to respond better
Sorry, I
to
hear
it.
a tiny jet engine.
Oh, that's my furnace.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying I heard like a helicopter go by earlier, but I think it was just a diesel.
Yeah, I know you were hearing one of my neighbors
yeah,
driving
this
by.
computer's gonna
We're all
blow up
anxious.
beside
Yeah.
me, or
Yeah, no, the computer's
Yeah.
fine. Everyone's fine. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, like, so for years, I would say I can't remember exactly when they started, but like maybe around 16 to 18, around there is when my panic attacks started.
Okay.
And my panic attacks always happen in the middle of the night, and I've
Hey, while you're sleeping, right?
no control.
Can you
over it.
describe to me the symptoms of that? Because I think my girlfriend has that.
I just wake up and without any chance to prepare, something stresses me out. And it can be a lot of things. So
Is it? Yeah, it's
I'll
anxiety
just like
driven.
throw something out there, like I'm maybe like a health issue,
Sure.
and I'll wake up and I'm like flooded with panic, like that. I have this health problem, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
A bunch of you're giving yourself a bunch of problems to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I cannot talk myself down.
What about the visceral side? Like, what's your body feel like?
Oh God, sweating,
Clenched?
clenched, terrified.
Really?
Just terrified. Is the best way to describe it. I feel out of breath.
So like, let me
Feel like
level
I
with you.
can't
So
breathe.
when on November 28th, I started taking a new antidepressant and my ADHD medication, and I had to go home work because my body felt like shaky and numb and tingly. And then day 2, I went back to work. Had to go home even earlier. It was like 2 hours into the day. Day 3, I went to the hospital, and I like my arms were numb. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. Like where your arm goes to sleep and it like hurts, and it was like pinching pain all over my arm. But like my head would be like, "You're having a heart attack. You're having a heart attack," and there was nothing I could do to stop. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And then the panic part versus the anxiety was, what if nobody believes me and I die? What if the ambulance doesn't show up and I die? What if they take me to the hospital and my girlfriend starts freaking out and she doesn't know how to handle it and I die? That's panic for me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like all these different like events that I'm letting myself create and focus on.
Yeah.
But the physical side, man, it was like my arms hurt, my head was sweaty, and my eyes hurt, and my joints hurt, and like
Well, and like sometimes for me, the panic part of it is like I'm afraid to maybe talk to my wife about it.
because
So-
if you say it
makes
out loud,
me-
it might be real.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it makes me panic even harder.
Yep.
But, and I wish I would have known this years ago, but I spoke to a family member who was like, because basically I went in to see my doctor and he was like, he's like, you should try this. And I was like, man, like really? Like I'm going to be on anti-anxiety meds? Like,
Yeah.
never thought in a million years, but he's like, you should try this. And anyways, like told a family member and he's like, oh yeah, I've been on that for like 3 years. Changed my life. And basically I have not had a panic attack since I started taking it other than when I forget to take it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've had a couple times where like, like if I'm on vacation, right? And you just kind of get in the groove of like, you're on vacation or like we're camping, right? Sometimes like with the kids and stuff, it's a little bit of work getting things going in the morning.
Oh yeah,
right?
I know. Yes.
So I'll just forget, right? And the whole day will go on and I just don't even think about it. And then maybe 2 days go by and then all of a sudden, all middle of the night, wake up, crazy panic attack. And I'm like, right. Like totally forgot to take my meds for like 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's that part of it sucks because if I do forget, they're like really bad.
Yeah.
But if I'm taking them regularly, I don't get them at all.
How deep have you dug into this? Like where?
What do you mean?
Like you said that it. I mean, I guess this is me just playing armchair like psychologist here now, but the fact that you said that they only started like several years ago, like within.
I feel like I was like 18, so that's a while.
Oh really? Like I thought you said that it was like within like 2018 when it was really.
No. Like I was like.
You were 18.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I misinterpreted the time there.
Yeah, no, I've been having
in that
panic
respect
attacks since I was like 18 years old.
Okay.
And just never.
Undiagnosed.
I just never told anybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just kind of.
Well, I guess I'm just like for me, like the more I dig into all of this stuff as I try to diagnose my own issues of things, it always kind of leads back to like where did it come from? Like most things stem from something, right? They don't usually come from nothing. There's something somewhere, but figuring out what that is.
I definitely think in our family it's genetic.
Yeah.
Because my
Totally possible.
I definitely
Totally
think
possible.
that I definitely think that my dad has suffered from depression. He's just never maybe talked about it.
Depression is one thing, but like the type of panic attacks you're talking about.
Depression, anxiety, panic attacks.
I used to group them all in together, but they were so different.
I know they are.
Yeah.
I know they are.
But they kind of go hand in hand. Though. I get
just
it.
think that
like
a lot of people that I talk to that like suffer from like let's say depression at some point have had like a panic attack. Or,
Yeah.
I just think that if
it does
they can trigger each other.
Come from
they can trigger each other.
It comes from
think it's
similar places.
I think it's like
sure.
a boat, man. And if you spend too much time, like say if you have like depression and anxiety, and then like the middle is like mindfulness. If you have like too much time on one side, the boat tips, right? So now you're depressed, and you're like, I'm not going to fall into this. So you run to the other side, and of course you have a panic attack.
Well, sort of,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess for me, it seemed like, and it's sort of like what you were saying, where the two are somewhat intertwined to some degree.
I don't
right?
think like
a little bit like for me, anxiety and depression, the two kind of go.
They complement each other, though.
They it's just the yin and the yang. They're both the same sides of the same coin. The coin is bad. The coin is basically like something's not right in your life. Something's not right with. like something has caused this to be a thing that hasn't been dealt with, but they're the same, like they're just this side and that side.
Yeah.
It's the forward or the backward.
Well, at the end of the day, they're both just worries, or like they're both.
It's worry. It's worry.
It's a visceral response to something that you can't control, but you shouldn't worry about controlling.
You're having a physical and a mental response to something that either hasn't happened or something that has already occurred. So it's not something that's happening to you now.
In
so
the
you're
moment.
not living in the moment. Either way, whether it's depression you're living behind or anxiety you're living forward, you're not living in the moment that is now, which is actually probably safe because nothing's happening to you, but you're experiencing the thing that had already occurred, or you're worrying about the thing that hasn't happened yet, and you get trapped in that. And I guess for me, at least, digging into myself, it always comes back to like there's something I'm not dealing with, or something I haven't really come to terms with, that it's like there's this thing, and they may not even be like massive things, but just something that I haven't made my peace with.
Incongruencies, man, will do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like you're trying to think one way, like you're trying to keep your mind in one set. Like, you know, I'm a confident, strong person, but there's something still like in your subconscious that tells you, no, you're not there yet. There's something that's.
I mean, I didn't have anything going on at that time. Like when my panic attack started, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't. My childhood was amazing. I don't have any, you know.
I'm in the same boat, bro.
I don't have any stories of like, you know, I was abused, or, you know, I'm
you could probably complain about things, but like, why bother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same,
like,
bro. I'm the exact same.
I had a really, I have to say that.
And I mean, as odd as this is going to sound, I had more of an opposite of that.
Right.
But this is weird. Like, it doesn't sound like my physical, like the panic attacks that I have had sound very mild compared to what you guys are talking about.
Really?
Like my anxiety, like I've had depression since I was a little kid. That I
probably just versed in it, bro.
That I'm very well versed in. I think I told you one point. Like I do my best like creative work when I'm in like a dark, depressed place. Like
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, you hear that about artists, right?
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
I don't think Elliott Smith and Jeff Buckley and those guys wrote the songs that they wrote because they were happy. Yeah, right. And I understand that very well. Anxiety is newer to me, right? The worrying about the future part and like the panic attack parts. And I haven't had it as bad as what you guys are talking about. And at least for me, I can draw back to like things that happened in my past or whatever, or an accumulation of things where it's like, okay, this type of behavior compounded on each other, okay, would lead to a certain way of looking at the world and a certain mindset that might make my brain go down this road. Always look at the negative because that was the influence that was around.
It's an easy road,
right? It was everything is always shitty and you have no control and blah 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 blah. Life is awful. You know, that was set in my mind, and like I said, that side of it I understand really really well. The anxiety side, I
don't knock your teeth out.
Yeah, exactly. I'll bash my own teeth out here. That I only really tasted after getting divorced. Yeah. Right. I was depressed all my life, but anxiety, like that worry and that panic and that only happened a bit after that. And like I said, for me, I look back for whatever those triggers were, and it's just
anxiety for me is like the if something happens that results in a where do we go from here?
So you have a control thing, just like me,
right? Like when I, you know, whether it's like leaving bands that I've been in over the years, right?
And then what?
I was in a band in Vancouver that I thought for sure, and I still say it to this day, that band and the album that we recorded in Vancouver, I think was like a banger of a record.
Did you guys do that at Brian Adams' studio?
Greenhouse.
Greenhouse?
I don't know who owns.
No, he owns the Warehouse. It's called the Warehouse.
Yeah. No, we were at Greenhouse. Actually, Wide Mouth Mason was in at the same time as us
cool,
when we were recording. But you know, like that band, I was like, this is it. Like we finished that record, and I was like, holy shit! Like this is it, man. Like there's no way that this can fail. but our lead singer was a raging alcoholic, and
there's always ways it can fail.
There's always one, yeah.
And we started getting like banned from venues that we played in.
Really?
It just got way too much, man. Like, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. And that band I was playing bass in, so it wasn't even my main instrument. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say I was like 1 foot out the door, but
you weren't sold either.
I really enjoyed what I was doing, but I kind of, the other thing that was frustrating is when we went in the studio, I actually ended up doing, I would say 80% of the guitar, 70% of the guitar, because our guitar player he struggled, and that's fine. I did like backing vocals, right? I was pulling like 17-hour days in the studio.
Cards on the Table studio is different than live. Cards on the Table. I have a hard time in a studio, but live I can play all day long.
Oh, fuck.
It's different. It's just different.
Yeah.
Cards on the table,
absolutely.
you know what I mean?
It's a different thing.
Yeah. Nonetheless, you were the guy that picked it up.
And it, man, like that was tough because I mean, I was playing bass. And again, like as a guitar player, I'm looking over at the other members of the band and going, oh, like you're playing that, like, and I'm making mental notes. But still, when you aren't actually playing the parts, and then all of a sudden it's like, dude, you got to do this because it's not working, right? Yeah. Just because our guitar player, he just has he had a really hard time playing with the click, and the type of band that we were playing in, it needed it. We had.
Well, I mean, most do at this point.
They do, but I think like, you know,
blues, you could kind of get away with it a little bit.
You could be a little bit
of jazz,
push and pull, and
a little bit of Motown.
If you got really great musicians, you can get away with it.
But we had it was very kind of the lead guitar work was very, I don't want to say very delay heavy, but it was very
specific,
intentional, and it was like he first of all, he couldn't like play in sync with the click. But he couldn't even get his delay, like
that's tough.
Working, like the timing right.
Time with it, yeah.
So it was, yeah.
Well, he didn't know how to set his gear, and he didn't know how to play. Yeah. Sounds like you need a new guitar player.
Yeah, it was,
no offense.
I mean, yeah, he's
no shade, no tea.
The guy could do things on the guitar that I'll never be able to do.
Sure,
right? But it just
because you play in time.
Touche. But yeah, no, honestly, I remember walking. So we,
you guys keep going. I gotta pee really.
Sure.
Yeah, you do that.
Like we obviously most things in the studio, unless you got bags of money, recorded digitally.
Yep.
But I remember we recorded the entire.
That was pre-digital though. Like give yourself have some self-compassion for yourself.
No, there was. It was
digital. But it wasn't. It wasn't like in everyone's fucking house.
No, okay, yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I remember we all the tracking was done and everything, and the engineer was like, "Yeah, I think I've got everything kind of mixed," and then we went in and we everything was I don't know what the terminology is, but like it was bounced through 2-inch tape.
Oh yeah.
To just kind of like warm everything up, yep. And
that's fun.
But yeah, it was that's a cool screensaver. Jellyfish, right?
Same, right? I get distracted too. Don't worry.
But no, I remember we all went in that day when he was running it through the tape, and it was just I just remember sitting there and going, this is it. Like this
is the one, eh?
If we fuck this up,
it's your fault, not the music's fault.
Yeah, because it was really good. I mean, our lead singer could write a song. He had the most natural singing voice I think I've ever heard. I was just like, okay, like let's start booking gigs, and that's the thing too is when I came into the band, they weren't doing anything, and I'm not saying that like because they didn't know how or anything like that. I mean, things take
tough,
time,
man. It's tough.
And the job that I had, I basically was like in a back office and didn't do anything.
Nice.
So then I just started going to work, and I called Greenhouse, and initially they were like, we want like $15,000 to record a 10-song record. We'll give you an engineer and an assistant.
It's not bad, man. That's a ton of money. It's not bad.
I got a way better deal.
Really?
Because I knew that everybody was hurting. right? Everybody was hurting.
Of course.
So I think I got them down to 8,000.
Wow, for 10 songs?
10
Good
songs.
for you, man. And no second record, no royalties.
No, nothing.
That's it, eh?
Go in,
Good for
record
you.
10 songs. And I mean, we were pushing long days too. Like we were, and that's what I worked into the deal. I said, cause he was like, okay, so like 8 hours a day. And I was like, no, I'm like, I want basically, 10
Just
songs.
free reign.
This is the price.
Yeah.
And I said with a cap of, I think I said 2 weeks.
So you made it worth it for him too, because he's going to make $8,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But it was crazy because I remember they had like a little like kitchen or whatever. And I remember going in there one day, make a coffee or something. And Saf, drummer for Dvlmnt Mason, comes in. And he's like, oh, so you're the assholes that are in Studio A. Because I got us in Studio A, which is the biggest room at Greenhouse. And they were in Studio B.
That's so funny.
And then I'm trying to remember, there were other is it, I can never remember. It was either the New Pornographers or, are they Canadian?
Yeah,
They are, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure they
I
were
don't
in
have
there
my phone.
too.
It's filming us.
I can't remember. And then I remember one night, it was like because we recorded over Halloween, and Bruce Levins had like a tour bus there, and he like took everybody out for Halloween or something. I remember like fireworks being set off in the
You just remember parts of it?
parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, man, that was such a cool experience. And
Tour buses are different, right?
Yeah. Well, this one was
Someone else's tour bus is different, right?
Yeah. And it was just like, it was crazy because I remember being in, so the way we tracked is I was in the drum room with the drummer, doing
Playing
my
bass.
bass parts. We knocked out the bass parts and bass and drum parts in like, I think we were done in 5 hours. Like
All 10 songs?
me and Hodo were just like dialed.
It's
Just-
usually the drummer takes a long time.
Hodo was amazing.
But that speaks to your room and your engineer too, though, because like if you had
Yeah.
a bad engineer or a bad room, it would take 5 hours for a song for a drummer.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
and
I
I
mean?
remember they had like an original SVT 810 cab. It
The
was
like early 90s ones that
built
sound
into
good.
a box.
Nice.
And he was like, I really want to, he's like, I think I want to mic your bass. Like, I think that's like the sound. And anyways, yeah, we got dialed in like super quick. And then what we did the first day is we got the drum sounds, bass sounds, and then we did like just a quick rehearsal, went through all the songs really quickly. And the engineer, who was also, I would say the producer, he kind of acted as a producer. He had like a wicked knowledge of chord structure and stuff.
that happens a lot of the time.
He actually did some pre-production with us. And so he would come to our rehearsal space and he made some changes. And then when we got in the studio, he's like, you know what? I want to change it back. Right. Kind of thing after he heard us play it. And, But yeah, we came back the next day. Me and Hodo banged out the drums and bass and like, I want to say like 5 or 6 hours. And then
10 songs.
Yeah. Just like nailed it. And then we started getting into like the overdubs and stuff like that. And I think it was like our lead singer, he kind of knew that acoustic was my thing. Mm-hmm. So he was like, yeah, just do all my parts.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, you're going to play them better than I will. And I was like, yeah, sure. Right. So I did learn his parts. But then, when it came time to do the leads and stuff like that, Jeff he just struggled. It was nothing against him. He just,
Even with the leads, eh?
I think, what's that?
Even on the leads?
Yeah, he was just, he just wasn't hitting it, having a hard time with, because again, it's like a lot of delay work and stuff like that. So if first of all, if your delay's out, and then you're out with the click, it's just,
no,
it's a disaster, right? So, the other thing that happened too is there were several moments where Brandon was like, he's like, basically, we need more than one hook in this song. He's like, like this, Jeff would come in with a guitar part and he's like, that's great. But he's like, it's just being too monotonous.
Yeah, it's
and
not. It doesn't. It
he's
doesn't
like, we
work
need
with
something
the song.
else, right?
Yeah.
So then there were like a couple songs where he's like, I need something else. Like this isn't doing it. So, and then again, Jeff I think he just got really, and no fault of his own. Our lead singer was putting a lot of pressure on him, and then I think he just buckled. I think anybody would. He just, Colin was like,
Sure.
you need to
And
like
is this all?
make
This
work.
is still all one day.
No. This was.
Oh, this is after.
This was after.
This is
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, we had
Okay.
bass and drums
Yeah.
done in one day for sure. It was like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, and that band too. Like we had keys in it, but like synths and Darren played with. Oh God, I can never remember the band. The Rhinos or some band from like long ago.
Stampeders?
Sure. With, huh?
Stampeders?
No, they were like
Played with the birds back in the
Rhinos or
day.
something. I don't know. He's a killer, keys player, but so we had stuff like that, and then like stacked harmonies and
That's
that
cool.
whole thing. But yeah, man, when it was done, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
big
way.
ticket.
There's no way we're not getting. I mean, I played in other bands before. I'm like, yeah, this is not good enough, right? But that band, I thought for sure. Out of any band I've ever played in, actually,
Really?
I thought
What about the solo show? What about the suitcase?
my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I thought for sure that, like, I remember I can't remember what the show was, but I remember coming up to you and being like, "Hey man, is that actually portholes in your suitcase?" And you being like, "Yep," and me being like, "I'm gonna put a microphone inside your suitcase."
Yeah.
And him being like, "Okay," and it sounded so
It
fucking
actually sounded
wild.
really good. It
I
was big.
blown. I put a Beta 91 in it, a plate,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
ran the fucking thing through the porthole. He had 2 portholes with the silver everything. He went right in, and I put that thing in there, man. And like ever since then, I've thought like, I don't know if kick drums sound that good. It's been few and far between when I've found kick drums that actually rival that fucking thing.
That suitcase, when when Claire and I were dating, she like planned this crafting night at her house, like at her parents' place. I think her parents were out of town. I can't remember. And so she invited me, and I'm like, so like what happens? She's like, I don't know. Like people just show up and they make crafts. Like we just hang out and, and drink.
Sure.
It's kind of strange. I've never,
Sounds very upper crust.
I think like there was like one guy like making a mask or something, and so I just like thought I'm like, yeah, I'll make a drum out of this suitcase. But
Yeah.
the funny part about it was that I had to be in the garage the whole time. So like
You weren't even part
all
of
these
the art.
people were in the house, doing theirs.
You're
and I'm
doing,
in
like,
the
leather work.
garage, like like cutting holes and using her dad's tools and stuff.
I love that.
But yeah, that thing I still have it.
Because I've worked with other
Actually,
suitcases.
What's his
Other
Cole
suitcases.
Haug?
Cole Hogg, yeah.
Cool, yeah.
I can never pronounce his name. I think at one point he asked me to buy it
Really?
or make him one. I think we talked about.
Yeah.
But I mean, it never happened. I mean, I had Rob Habitler. He has a friend that does like metal work, and he made me like a bracket.
Uncle Cecil?
Uncle Cecil.
Cecil did that for you?
I was-
Roy,
wait, I
Roy
was-
or Rob or
Cecil.
Roy, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yep.
Cecil.
Uncle
Yep.
Cecil.
I know all the fucking Panzacs, don't you worry. I know all the arrangements.
Rob was in there buying a wireless in-ear system, talking about getting Uncle Cecil to make him some rack ears. for
Rob
him.
who?
He does
With
all the-
Habitler.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He did all the stuff at the college for the automotive program.
Dude's an
dude,
animal, bro.
Is he?
Dude's an animal.
Yeah.
I don't
All
know
the engine cutouts
I don't know
and
who
stuff?
Uncle Cecil is. I've never met Uncle, but I've heard of Uncle Cecil
The
before.
bass player in Trevor Panzak?
Is that who it is?
Yeah. His
Oh,
last name's
no.
Cecil.
Yeah.
No, all I heard from fucking Rob is Uncle Cecil.
Yeah,
fucking
Uncle
do
Cecil,
this
bro.
for me.
Yeah,
Uncle
we'd have
Sue.
like
Uncle Cecil do
big,
anything.
I'm like, who's the fuck is Uncle Cecil?
transmissions
Yeah.
that had like cutouts on them, so you could see the parts like working.
Yeah.
And he did all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no shit.
Yeah.
eh?
Did you know in Edmonton they have that at the vet school where they remove the side of the cow so you can see their stomachs working, and it apparently doesn't
it's like
affect
a
the cow
whole-
at all.
Yeah, that's
It doesn't affect the cow at all.
it was weird.
Doesn't it all?
I mean, I'm sure they're not super excited about having their sides removed.
I'm sure they're fucking
Them
not.
obliques, I've been working hard on my
sure
obliques.
they're not. Jesus. It doesn't
Hey,
affect
cheers,
them
friends.
at all.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Fuck those cows, right?
Fuck those cows.
It's weird though that it doesn't.
doesn't.
I mean, sure they can stay alive, but
and
that's
it's
got
like
to
completely
affect them.
open, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no like
you can
there's no like.
That's what I mean. That's got to affect them in some way.
I don't know if you live in like a perfect you live in a perfect environment where everyone takes care of you. They clean. It's like Wagyu beef, man. Like they get massages. They get taken care of. They get read bedtime stories. You know what I mean?
Gotta look after you real good till we cut your side
there's different
open.
levels of
Wagyu's red atop, man.
But I think they're Wagyu is there's
well, okay, you can get like you can go to a
grades
farm
of
that like I could do Wagyu if I really wanted.
Yes,
I
that's
could
what I'm
get
saying.
into it, I'm sure. But the thing is like no. In Alberta, especially in Alberta, there is like you have to have top like creme de la creme to be called Wagyu. And
okay,
and
I just remember
Wagyu.
No, I remember when we used to tour from Prince George up to Prince Rupert and back, and there's an amazing casino there up in Prince Rupert. It was beautiful, and we used to do like a duo show there. And one night the chef came out, and he's like, "I'd like to treat you guys to dinner tonight," and we got two.
That's the only time.
That's
Bro,
the
we
only
buy
time.
those. We got a butcher just down the street from my house. We barbecue them up at my house. We got a sous vide. We've been hitting
Jesus,
really
you
hard.
say this. I've never had this fucking
What?
meat before.
You've had expensive meat at my house.
What's that?
You've had expensive meat at my house. You might not have known it, but
not
you
steak. No,
all the meat we buy is
we
really
had like
expensive.
burgers.
Yeah,
those
and-
ones that Kevin charred up black.
Oh, yeah, that was Kevin's fault.
no.
Those are truck roast though, man. Those were truck roast.
I had black burgers at your place.
We go ham in the food at my house, man. We go ham.
So
I'm
Trust me,
thinking about starting a YouTube channel.
I'm a red meat connoisseur.
Oh, you better come over then.
I pay attention
when I was
there's
dating
good fucking
when I
meat.
first started dating Claire. Sorry, just
Yeah.
food story. She was still living with her parents, and I asked her if I could cook her dinner one night.
Oh yeah.
She's like at the house. I'm like, yeah, if that works. She's like, yeah. I used to do this like maple salmon
Okay.
dish.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyways, I don't know what happened, but it fucking smoked like
So say, where's this going?
it was like it's never happened to me before. I don't do it often, but I've done it like several times before this. I don't know if like just her mom's oven was like way hotter than it.
Yeah, faster maybe.
Right.
Who knows?
But like we're sitting there and I'm like, looking at the timer because like I know like I've cooked it before, and all of a sudden just fucking black smoke starts coming out of the oven.
Oh no.
It's everywhere. Like
yeah.
the whole ceiling is just
Jesus.
it was bad, man. Like I'm not talking just like smoke, like this was
I had
black
one of those.
smoke.
I had one of those.
Here's the crusher though. There's like 3 weeks later they had like a guy in there quoting them to speckle their ceiling.
Oh no.
Oh,
And I'm like,
redone.
oh my God, Claire. And like her mom swears to this day that it wasn't because of that. But I'm like,
I don't think it was because of that.
you don't think so?
No, I don't think so. It would have had to sit and bake in that room for so long to get infused into the paint, man.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what?
A good wipe down would have done that.
I
That
don't
was a
mean to be
different
the other side of this coin. You absolutely ruined their speckle.
No.
You destroyed it.
They ended up like so they had it was like popcorn ceiling, and then they had it redone and got knocked down, which is like the flat.
They shaved it all down. Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
pain in the
better
ass, man.
anyway.
yeah.
It's
Anyways,
better
Pain in the
anyway.
ass. When I tore my hamstring, I think we talked about this last time. I was like hopped up on painkillers, and randomly, this is a crazy story. I'm not going to get into, but randomly, one of my clients from the phone booth I was working at the time before TELUS just messaged me on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "I tore my hamstring. I'm on a bunch of fucking what's that painkiller starts with an M." Morphine. I'm on a bunch of morphine. I'm on a bunch of oral morphine.
Yeah, the big M.
And I was like, I'm just
big
sitting at
one.
my house making supper. I was like, why don't you come over? And she was like, really? Like, you just met me, like, I don't know, today or yesterday. I was like, yeah, sure. I don't fucking care. Like, whatever. Come over. So this chick shows up, and I forgot that I was cooking rice. And my house, man, same thing. It was like black. I couldn't see nothing. I swear, like maybe it was the drugs.
Real rice.
No, like the rice was
She's
cooked
like
through to the
knocking at
top
the door.
black.
Come on in. She like opens it. It's just
fucking walk.
No, we were sitting on the couch. We were sitting on the couch visiting, and my hamstring was torn, and I forgot about it. Anyway, so when I walked in the kitchen, though, and this is the part that's kind of foggy, but I remember there was no fire, but I remember being like, it's red in here. It is smoky and red.
red in
It
here.
is smoky and red. And I had to like take this thing off, and the next day I had to get all the rice out because the whole thing was fucking burned.
Yeah.
Like right to the top of my 2.5 cups of rice.
Oh, you're gonna want to let that soak.
Yeah.
You need to get a rice maker.
Yeah, buddy.
No, I chew through my rice makers.
What?
Really?
Yep.
I use a rice maker today. I use that motherfucker.
Do you remember how much
every fucking
I left?
use it
I left
forever.
Long McQuaid before I started getting into it, but like 8 meals a day, 8 ounces of rice.
I know what
for
you're
6
eating.
of those meals,
Yeah.
and then 4 ounces or 6 ounces, depending on the meal, of
Still-
sweet potatoes on top of that in the same rice cooker, man.
Doesn't mean you're gonna burn the rice cooker up.
Oh no! See, I would.
You
bur-
could
I would,
still fucking
I would cook
keep
the
your
rice
rice
cooker. They would
cooker
quit working.
fucking okay.
They would quit working. They would quit working.
It turns on and off for you.
Yeah, I know, but the problem was it wouldn't cook the rice though, because I'd go to AJ's after working at Long McQuaid and I would eat my rice and it would be all mush because the rice cooker quit on me.
Oh, it just
And
died.
yeah, it would just, like, from overuse
you
is what I'm
burned it.
saying.
I thought you were like fucking. I'm just fucking destroying these. I'm like, what the
I
fuck are you
burned through
doing
it.
to these
I
rice
wore it out.
cookers?
I wore it through, bro. I wore it
making
through.
that much rice.
17. I went 17 months without a cheat meal.
Yeah.
That's a long time. No alcohol, no drug. Well, I smoked weed. No drugs otherwise, and no cheat meals for 17 months.
Yeah.
And just beating the shit out of that rice cooker. Just beating the shit out of it. And my $140 Walmart barbecue. It was the best barbecue I ever had.
Rice.
Good times there.
Anyways, y'all got to come over for some beef though. We go
Yeah,
ham on the beef.
I'm ready.
You guys
to,
gotta
I'm hungry
come have
now.
flank
I'm
steak.
ready. To
I haven't had
fucking
supper.
go. I'm ready to go for a big old fucking steak.
We got
I
a
love
butcher.
doing flank steak.
Oh, flank steak? You're a
Yeah.
flank steak guy?
Oh yeah.
We do steak sandwiches with flank steaks.
Oh yeah.
We'll buy like Kevin and I'll buy like 5
Yeah,
or
well-
6 flank steaks a week.
We do flank and then
Wait, flank's
if it's
the
left
thin
over.
shit though, isn't it?
We get them. So the thing
Well-
is the Prairie Butcher in Prairie Meats in Coaldell, you could buy a box of them for like $80 flank steaks.
Really?
They're frozen though, but once they defrost, they're just as good as the next butcher down the street. I'll
Interesting.
add you to the email. They email sales all the time.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, be like
Yeah,
$300.
I mean, they're you
for
know
whatever.
they're
It's a big chunk of meat, man.
they're like a tapered chunk of meat.
So my girlfriend likes medium well.
Maybe I'm thinking of something.
medium
And then
well.
when you,
I'm thinking of something else.
And then when you cut them, you usually cut them into slivers, right?
We make
Oh,
steak
okay, maybe
sandwiches out of
that's
them.
what I'm thinking of
Like-
because I thought I was thinking
like, think like-
like
think
flank
like
steak is
thick-
like the thin sliced fucking.
Yeah, think like a thick bacon
that's what
strip.
I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kinda like-
that's what I'm.
But it's
thinking
like
of.
nice and
It's- yeah.
soft. Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
melts in your mouth.
Bro, we go ham. So when we moved into the house that we bought in Fairmont here,
Yeah.
my dad was like, "Hey, there's a garage sale on the west side. Let's go. I'm going to buy you something for your house." I was like, "Sweet, fuck yeah, right?" So we went there, and he just happened to have his utility trailer with him because he was going to work after. And it was a patio set we bought. It was like a big, like a 8-foot umbrella that comes way out, and then it curls up into nothing, right?
Yep.
It comes way out like an awning. So we bought it for $150, and I was like, "Well, while we're here," I was like, "What else y'all got?" They're like, "You got a barbecue?" It's like, I might, but what you got? They sold me a gas barbecue, like natural gas barbecue with the new hookup and everything, and it was like cleaned, brand new for $100. And man, it's got a bun warmer on
Nice.
it. It's got an extra burner. It's got like 2 separate, like so it's got like the full 3-burner barbecue plus a 1-burner barbecue plus a like the spit roast thing down the middle. Oh, dude, we
Yeah.
barbecue ham in the summer. We
Once
go
you
ham.
once you get a quality barbecue, it
no
it
going
makes
back.
all the difference in the
No
world.
going back.
It really does. I mean, I'm
Doesn't even have to be quality. Once you know your barbecue,
like my bar. Well, yes, but like barbecues that I've had previously, you just let them.
do you think you care more because you have a nice barbecue though?
I think I care more because I know that this one will last.
Because I don't want to be that guy, but I got bought a Walmart $140 barbecue on my 20th birthday, and I turned 30 this year, and it still works just fine.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. This barbecue that we have, like, it's not like an uber expensive barbecue, but
It's nice though, right? It's probably nice.
It's nice.
Fuck yeah.
And like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that is it.
For me,
like, I
it's-
take the time now. Like I clean it.
For me, it's just a
polish it.
matter whether the fucking thing will keep heat or not. Like,
Yeah.
my barbecue sometimes is a little inconsistent. And I
That's
know
the
it.
nice thing about
even,
that.
Even with the temperature gauge, I know the thing is it's inconsistent. It's not as hot as it should be sometimes when I'm
Yep.
trying to fucking cook a steak. I like my steak bloody in the middle.
Yeah.
Like fucking
charred on the
bloody,
outside.
charred on the outside, and just fucking bleeding, fucking still half alive,
Yep.
fucking everywhere else. I like my meat that way.
Yep.
and sometimes I can get my barbecue to do it. Sometimes I can't. It seems a little
Natural
hit or
gas
miss.
is
A
the
little
secret.
hit or miss. I don't
Natural
know.
gas, man. Even in the wind, it's just like 250 is 250. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
300 is 300.
Yeah, I think mine
And it's
depends.
just like,
Mine depends on the temperature outside and what's going on and all this bullshit and whether the thing's actually working right or not. I don't know.
Segue into
Segue
giving
into
a
fuck. I'm hungry for
shout
steak
out to,
now.
to Populous.
oh, yeah,
okay.
Populous. Show
But-
them off. Show them off.
Populous is a local company.
Do you know the Populous guys?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I know a podcast.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah, I'll play dumb.
So-
I don't even know what Populous is.
Yeah.
Fucking.
So
Really? You don't?
no.
They're a company in
man.
town here.
What are we talking
Leather
about,
work,
dude?
dude.
What do
So
they do? Who
They
are
do
they?
leather.
So
they do everything.
they do
Oh,
everything.
okay.
So their whole philosophy is fewer, better things. So
I love that. I
so
love
again, like
So like the 50s and 60s, how they built everything.
that. To last.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not like this
so
thing.
yeah, they have like their jeans are they have jeans there that are but they're like quality denim.
Yeah.
They're built to last. They're 14 ounce, 16 ounce, whatever ounce
Yeah.
denim. And you know, and then yeah, they have leather products. So Brad and I always forget the other guy's name. I think it's Josh. They make leather products. So like my belt,
Okay, yeah.
Populous Company, and then I actually have all my kids' initials.
Oh, neat.
Sorry, what do you have?
Yeah. Sorry. So
Yeah.
they did the coolest thing I've ever, like one of the coolest hangouts I've ever had. They called it Belts and Bourbon.
Okay.
And basically you bought a ticket and you went there after hours and they had a guy slinging drinks in the back,
I was gonna say there must be bourbon.
bourbon,
Yeah.
and you got to make your own belt.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
It was so much fun.
Oh my God! Can I ask you guys a question as a friend? So, as fathers, I have an idea that tops up to that.
Okay.
I want to make a website of things you can do during the summer to be a capitalist with your kids. So here's how to make a profitable lemonade stand.
Well, I just moved
Right down to the
yeah.
marketing,
I-
right down
I-
to the build, right down to where you can buy the
No,
shit from.
not to brag here, but I just fucking moved a dozen fucking boxes of Girl Guide cookies here
Did ya?
on one Friday alone.
Did
Thank
ya?
you very fucking much.
Wow.
Yesterday,
He was at a big wig meeting.
whole
Yeah.
fucking, we moved the whole case
Buy
At the
Thank
store?
you. Yeah, you betcha.
But like, so what
I
my thought
hawk
is,
those fucking things.
is like you can walk by my house and you can go to like we have like a free library thing, right? And you can scan a QR code that would say like profitable lemonade stand, and it'll say like little bits, like like pick your favorite color and paint it to that, right?
Yeah.
Add your favorite ingredient to it, like pick something like raspberry, pick something like strawberry, pick something that you like, make it unique to you, because then
Okay.
you're building a brand, right? You're teaching people how to build a brand, and then be like, go ask your parents for $100 for the wood, and tell them you're going to pay them back $120. It's 20% interest. You know what I mean? And tell them that you're going to be making you're hoping to make this much at your lemonade stand. You're going to pay them back like weekly, monthly, whatever. And you could just do something like that, because now you and your kids can
Yeah.
go build a lemonade stand. It's all done for you. You just actually have to do it.
Yeah, I just don't know how much.
My kids aren't going to care about that as much as I am.
You think so?
No, my
Well,
daughter's
mine
not
would.
going to give a shit.
Mine would, but I just
There
our
could be
neighborhood.
videos.
You get
Oh, it'd be missing.
well. You
Yeah.
just get some interesting clientele.
Well, I was just can't be any worse than my fucking neighborhood sitting out here.
Hey man, you know where I live. We have like a water.
Yeah, you live in the rich part of
we have
fucking
a
town.
water dish that we put out every morning for the dogs in the summer, because like
Yeah, yeah.
there's so many dogs that walk by.
Yeah.
Someone stole it, man, off my a water dish
in your fancy
in my
fucking-
fancy fucking neighborhood. I
And
live
here
in the
I
head
am
yet.
living in the fucking trailer park
We
ghetto.
live in the same neighborhood. You could walk.
I'm pretty
All
sure.
of-
So
I live in the same neighborhood.
whatever.
I built
Jesse.
I built garden boxes.
Yeah.
But in our front yard.
Nice.
Sun's really great in that spot. And yeah, I'm pretty sure people steal stuff out of there.
Oh, fuck.
I'm pretty sure-
people steal shit everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
that's the whole
I used to
thing.
have a friend when I was first single before I met Danielle. I used to have a friend that lived like 2 blocks from you. And we would walk home from the clubs, like by that park
Yeah.
there. We'd go down the slides of that fucking London Road Park,
Jesus.
and we'd find needles and be like, "I wonder
Yeah.
if I've kicked any of these."
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I've been in your front yard. I'm 99% sure I've jumped your
Probably.
fence, been in your front yard.
I'm pretty sure I slept on your porch.
No. So the problem was we were walking home. We got followed by a bunch of night walkers, a bunch of mouth breathers, and we were trying to find them. When like I didn't have my keys, my buddy who actually lived where we were walking was nowhere to be found. We couldn't find him. My phone was dead.
Yeah.
So we were like, I'm gonna pass out, and I know I'm gonna pass out, so I'm gonna lay somewhere. So I jumped over this little fence, and I just tucked against the fence so no one would see me. And then I'm thinking like half an hour, 45 minutes later, I woke up, jumped back over the fence, walked to my friend's house, knocked on the door till he let me in, and then I went to bed. But it was like 2-3 stops with little fences that I was hiding behind.
Yeah.
I don't have
Pretty
recollection
sure.
of.
Pretty sure it was the Matt Robinson residence.
Maybe. Well, now that you say that,
Now that you say that, my plants were fucked up one particular
'cause
morning.
we lived in that house across the street, right?
Yeah.
So the house that we're in now,
3.5 years ago.
the house that you picked me up from.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That house, man, when we first moved in there, yeah, we had people knocking on the door at 3 a.m. asking for Jake, like,
Yeah.
or
that should
whoever,
happen all
right?
the time.
Like obviously whoever lived there before were drug dealers and,
Yeah.
so we had, and so then I built a new fence in the backyard and made like kind of a idiot proof
Like a gate
latch for the
locking thing,
gate,
yeah.
right? But yeah, we'd still have people like climb over the fence, and I actually remember. I remember when we bought the house, and we were kind of in like the final stages of the reno, and so we had like kind of all hands on deck, and had my parents love painting. I hate painting, right? And I just remember one day I'm like in the living room or something doing something, and my mom's in the kitchen painting, looking at London Road Park, and I just hear, Matt, I think there's 2 people in the park fornicating.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I go back there and like all I see is like a Smurf blanket, like this dirty Smurf blanket, and it's moving. Like, oh man, really? And that's the thing. It's like
You get what you get.
Yeah,
it
there
got to
was.
the point where the thing is like those types of parks or parks in general, I guess, if they're used right, if they're used often, then those type of people tend to not
To leave.
frequent them.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is nobody used our park.
Yeah.
Right. We used the park
Probably the most.
but it just it got to the point where it wasn't safe. Isaac would go back there and we'd play with him, but it's like, man, like if
You never know.
if he falls and there's something sitting there.
I know. Anytime I take,
We'd always
any
do
of the
the-
parks
the-
around here. Yeah, I do the
Yeah.
check around. You look
Right.
at do the walk around the perimeter.
Yeah.
You look through all the the actual playground
Yeah.
stuff, and then you look through all the
Gravel.
gravel. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. All the rocks, all the shit.
Y'all gotta come by my
right?
place.
Yeah.
They just opened up a brand new school. It's the first semester it's going through right now. And, I guess second semester, but like the first year going through it.
Yeah.
But like, man, that school is dialed in. They got the whole wall is solar panels, and then the whole roof is solar panels.
nice. Jeez,
And then the playground, the parts that spin charge a battery. So like the whole thing, man, is like, it's nuts. And like even the bell, like, do you guys remember the school bell? It sounds like a fucking ice cream truck at this place.
Yeah.
It freaks me out.
My kids.
Same
Fleetwood
as school.
has the best,
the Nintendo
man.
one.
The Nintendo.
That's so funny, really.
It's so awesome.
No shit.
Yeah, they use the Nintendo.
I love that.
ones for the
That's
bells.
so
That's
funny.
great.
It's great.
Not like when we were in fucking school. It's just a fucking bell.
I'm pretty sure the first time I picked up Isaac and I heard that, like, I said out loud, I'm like, this is so cool. And all the parents are kind of like, who's this guy?
Bro, I can't wait to be a parent for like that reason. Like, go to the school and be like, "Yo, you guys do this?"
Oh,
like,
man,
you kidding
yeah.
me? Just like I like liking things, so I'm just gonna be like in on it. And,
It's
like,
way different than when I was a kid. That's for fucking sure.
yeah.
All the shit they do.
Yeah.
interesting.
It's funny when I go to pick up Isaac, like I'm like terrified.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like
About
a
what?
38-year-old dad,
What,
and I'm
what are you
like,
paranoid about?
I don't
What are
know,
you
all
freaked
these
out about?
kids, they're like so much cooler than I am.
Do you ever like?
You know what I mean? Like they give you looks like, who are you?
You're an old man.
Like, they're just
now.
so cool now.
My mom told
know?
my mom told
Hey,
me
wait
this
till they're in
story.
high school.
I know, right?
You think they're bad now? Yeah.
I like had to go through the hallway to pick him up once, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like I think I'm gonna get beat up.
Oh, this is a while ago. You haven't been allowed
Getting
in those
eyed up.
schools for like fucking 2 years now.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
That's like fucking trying to break into
Yeah.
the Pentagon.
Yeah.
You want to try to get into the
Before-
fucking.
I heard that's
That's
easier.
cool.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just like walk through the hallways, and these kids like, they
Oh,
got,
I
like,
know.
Sizing you
strut
up.
and like, who's this guy?
I'd always be dropping my daughter off in the morning and having to wade through all these fucking kids
Yeah.
because she'd want to hold my. She's little, right? Want to hold my hand all the way to class. So it's like wading through all these fucking kids and parents. Not like that now. You drop
Yeah.
them off outside and fucking you hope they can get in the door. Somebody will open it.
What? So I'm curious. So my last memory of like a high school is going to visit. Like I don't know if you guys did this after high school, but I like went back to my school to like see the 2 teachers I liked, like the year after. Or
No,
whatever.
no.
2 years after.
I moved across
You moved
the
across
fucking
the country,
country. Fuck them.
I was
Yeah,
just
no,
like,
I wouldn't have
I
gone
was
back
in-
to see him anyway.
I
I'll
was
be
in town. I went
perfectly
to my band
honest.
class. I played drums for the band class. Like hung out with the band teachers. I was friends with him.
I was a
think I saw the
bastard in
English
school.
teacher.
I was a bastard.
See, I was too.
not.
I fucking
those-
hated school.
Those teachers did not want to fucking see me. I did not want to see
Try-
them. There was no way.
I went to one high school from grade 8 to grade 11, and after my grade 11 year, it closed down.
Oh really?
So then I had
come?
to just not enough students. It was a
Prince George.
private school. Yeah.
Oh okay. There's lots
And,
of that's BC, right?
Yep.
There's lots of private schools in BC.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's there's I forget what it's called, but like there's one in Vancouver that's like if you're like an athlete, like that's where you go.
There's an arts one that my friend is a technician at. Him and his partner work at.
But yeah, it like closed down, and like my grade 11 year, our entire school had like 130 students.
Jesus.
There was like nothing.
My
Yeah.
graduating class had over 300.
Really?
There was,
Yeah.
there was
Holy
over
shit.
there was over 1,000 kids in my
Yeah.
high
I had
school.
100 in my class, my cousin, but it doesn't count. Like I play it like it counts. My cousin graduated with 6 people in the whole school,
Jesus,
but there's
God.
only 800 people on the island. So it's like,
Right? Yeah.
No, dude, man, we had more people.
But yeah,
we had more
I
people
had
at my
8,000
high
people
school
now.
than that fucking island. Like it wasn't even like a super populated
school was
area.
it?
It was Horton High.
In-
I guess it was technically in where the fuck was it? It wasn't in Port Williams. It was just off of. It was like It was in Annapolis Valley, Kentville.
oh, okay.
Wolfville,
Outside of Port Williams, though.
outside of Port Williams and Wolfville. Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of there were a couple of high schools that got closed that all got like amalgamated to that one,
Right.
so that's why they all got bussed
Makes
in.
sense.
But yeah, no, there was like fucking. It was like it was the first private public like co-op school
Right.
in the area. So it was like a big mega school. It was
Interesting.
fucking yeah. We had this in some ways it was weird because it was like we had like all these like computer bays that were like this is like the late 90s, right? So
Yeah.
you know, like having computers in general was like kind of a
The feature,
novelty
yeah.
back then. But we had these big computer bays in every wing of the school. We had this cafeteria that was like a multi-level. It was like almost like a mall. It almost looked like a mall the
That's
way it was
cool.
set up, like a mall food court.
Yeah.
So it was very like we were a little hick town, you know, Nova Scotia, but it actually like looked like something you'd see out of like a fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the way it was all like set up, like especially like the cafeteria
It was just so brand new,
There's like
right?
this mezzanine around the whole top of the whole thing, and then there's like the main part, and everything was brand new. And I was the first. It was grade 9 to 12, and my grade 9 class was the first one to go to this. So we were like the first new class at this fucking school back in the day. And anyway, it was all fancy and looked like a fucking movie, and
That's neat, though.
it was interesting. Yeah,
Did it
but it
keep-
was really big. There was a ton of fucking people. There was just fucking people everywhere.
Yeah.
Did it make you a better student?
No, fuck
No, of
no.
course not.
I was a shitty student, man.
Oh, it's
I
like
was
me.
getting
Like,
high
I-
and drinking all the
I
time.
went from a school of 130 total
yeah.
to 2,700.
Oh yeah.
So it was like
Wow.
a complete shocker to
That's
me. So,
nuts. It's like culture shock.
so
shock
to get
almost.
back to your question, like I didn't really, I had no attachment to that school.
Yeah.
So as soon as I graduated, I was like, see you later.
Yeah.
So-
same with me. Yeah.
So anyway,
I
so
didn't
the
give
point
a
I was
fuck,
trying to make there before these memory cards run out
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
I
Almost
was
done,
going
yeah.
back and maybe I was just going to drop off something. I know I went back to the school a couple times to see like 2 teachers. One wasn't even my teacher. I just broke down with him all the time. And then one was the band teacher, because band kid, band teacher, whatever, right?
Sure.
So I was going back to the school, and this kid runs off the sidewalk in front of my truck. And I drove like a 03 150 at the time in like 2011. And this kid just darts out in the street in front of my truck.
So you smacked this kid. He's fucking dead.
Yeah, he's
Fucking,
dead. So move on. No.
Anyway,
I
so
slammed
I killed this kid once.
and this kid's just like staring at me. So I'm like, okay. So I like go around him, and he like runs out in front of me. I'm like, so then I go the other way. And he runs out in front of me again, and I'm just like, when I went to school, man, not one of those fucking idiots would have done that. There's not one kid in my school that would have done that. They're not in my grade, at least. And I'm not trying to say that like we were high and mighty. It's just that was a different time.
Well,
apparently,
you'd learn because you get hit.
yeah, yeah. When I was growing up, you just
Once you watch your buddy go to the hospital and his hips are broken, and fucking whatever else, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was the strangest thing, and I remember pulling up to the school and being like I described the kid and was like, this kid just like ran out in front of my vehicle, and they were like, oh, we know who that is. And they brought him in, and they chewed him out in front of me in the office, and I was like, this is really awkward. I'm 19, and what is this?
2 years ago, I was you.
Yeah. Fuck. We're running out of memory cards,
say,
boys.
yeah.
No, I think this time we should actually say goodbye.
Should we actually say goodbye?
Well,
I think last time we said we'll be back. We'll be right back.
I mean, we weren't. Oh, yeah. There's another memory card down. We're just down to the Dave camera. So, Dave, why don't you walk us out of here?
All right. Well, thank you all for showing up, and thank you guys for being with us tonight.
Matt Robinson,
Cheers,
everyone.
Matt Robinson.
thanks.
We got
That's awesome.
Dr. Jeffrey Peppers. Yes.
And Mr. Dave Khalil.
And and me.
Okay.
Peace.
I don't even know where I'm looking.
Apparently that one.
This one.
I hope to God it was. That's the one I was looking at and talking about.
And it's still in line, so that's nice.
Good stuff. Look at that.
Okay, so those